the Philly boys.
We see Shadowburn obviously play the Genji a ton. That's the hero he's known for. How much talent is on this team?
Shanghai Dragons walking in like a boss. Hey, wow, really committing to this.
Pyko gets 3. It's a self-destruct bonanza. What a spectacle.
Oh, but the kill's coming back around for the Shanghai Dragons.
Huge. The Philadelphia Fusion. What a strong start.
It's Friday night and the games are just heating up. What a finish we just saw as New York XL hands Seoul Dynasty their first loss. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Chris Puckett. It's time for match number 2, and we got the full desk back together. Sideshow reinforced, and Zoe's with us, who just came off a nice interview with Ark.
Yeah, what a lovely person. I love interviewing him. I love the confidence. Of course, they are the best team in the league now that they defeated the Seoul Dynasty. I love that we started the day with such a grand match and with map number 5 on that stage. I hope it continues in that fashion.
I have a feeling we're going to see some good games today. Let's go into the full schedule. If you're just joining us, yes, we went to game number 5. New York walked away with the win. Now, though, we're going to see the team that beat New York yesterday. It's the Philadelphia Fusion as they go up against the Shanghai Dragons. And a little bit later tonight, Dallas Fuel, one of the favorites at the start of the league, currently sitting at 0-4, looking for their first victory against the Shock at 8 o'clock. But it's time to get this second match going. Let's give it up for our first team to the stage. It's the Shanghai Dragons. This ever-improving lineup enters the match at 0-5, but they showed signs of life against Seoul. Sideshow, what improvements have we seen so far?
Yeah, definitely. When Shanghai Dragons came into the season, they looked a bit messy. They were all over the place. They've tightened up their tank play quite significantly, and also their supports seem to be playing at a higher level than what we've previously seen. So I think going forwards, this team is aiming to continue that development, continue the improvement, and with the mid-season signing period coming up and stuff like this, they want to be able to identify their holes and try and fill them.
Yeah, and you just mentioned the supports. Altering's Mercy really stood out against their match against the Seoul Dynasty. They got so much value out of every single res he had available. He was the main reason they captured point A on Umbani during OT, and it looked like a full hold at the beginning. However, they almost managed to even complete the map thanks to those clutch resses.
Yes, but we also have to mention the DPS players in this squad. We have Dia and we have Undead, of course. So we can draw some comparisons to New York with Roshan's aggressive tank play, and perhaps that will free up some space for Undead and his lethal McCree play.
Undead has to be a big fixture in this team's success today. We'll see if he can get the job done because he is going up against a very deadly DPS duo. Let's bring him out. It's the Philadelphia Fusion. In their match yesterday, everyone contributed. Everyone had great games, but it was the DPS duo of Carpe and Shadowburn that had everyone's attention. And currently, the Fusion, they're at 3-2. They pulled off a massive upset over the New York XL. Let's talk a little bit about how they did it, Johnny.
Well, you gotta talk about Shadowburn and Carpe, arguably one of the best DPS duos in the game. Shadowburn with his Dragon Blades yesterday versus the New York Excelsior, and then you have Carpe on the Widowmaker, the McCree, the Tracer. These guys are popping off and getting the wins.
And so we just saw a little mix-up here in the starting lineup.
Yeah, we're gonna have Hotba and Dayfly on the stage. Dayfly we already saw in week 1 against the London Spitfire as they wanted to field their strongest Mercy in the lineup. However, it was clear that there was some communication issues as his English was just not on the same level, and he hasn't been playing as much with the team as Neptuno has, for whom he has been subbed in. Now in week 2, the Korean coach Wee arrived and has been frantically working on integrating those Korean players. So I'd be very interested to see what Hotba and Dayfly are gonna do for the team today.
As you said, Hopper is coming in, and that means that Poco, the self-destruct god that we've all been looking at, is moving out of the lineup, and a guy that we haven't seen too much of is stepping in. Haven't fielded him in the regular season, weren't here for the preseason either, so you have to look way back kind of into Korean history to see this guy, so it's his chance for a fresh start to see if he can live up to the hype.
I know we're excited to see Hoppa in the lineup, but let's talk about those shoes he needs to fill. Poco, of course, we know him for his self-destructs, those amazing big diva bombs, but what could you look for when you're watching the play from Hoppa? How are you going to be judging him?
So what I'm mostly going to be looking at is how he's working alongside Fraggy, because Fraggy has a very unusual main tank style. It's pretty aggressive. He tends to be kind of almost in the backline, like the deepest player in almost all the time. So Hopper needs to be able to get him out of those situations and help him have effect.
All right, we're going to keep our eyes on the Philadelphia Fusion throughout this series, but despite an 0-5 start, I feel like the Shanghai Dragons are slowly becoming fan favorites. In their last match, we heard a "Let's Go Shanghai" chant that took over the room.
Freefield all alone on that right-hand side. They jumped in right away as well.
This is pretty amazing stuff because you see a guy in a Valiant shirt next to a Gladiator shirt, everyone cheering on the underdogs today. So let's talk a little bit about what they need to do if they're going to pull off the big upset today, Johnny.
Well, I want to see them actually go ahead and punish perhaps the aggression coming out of the Philadelphia Fusion, of course. I mean, you can throw in a Junkrat there because then you're going to put some cogs in the wheels for Shadowburn and Carpi, of course. So that's going to mess up things a bit. But Undead on the McCree, of course, he's going to be the one to pop off, get some flashbangs onto the flankers, and maybe secure some kills.
So we got Philly coming into this one. They had the big upset. They now have a winning record entering the match. We know at the end of stage one, the top three are going to be playing off for over $100,000. What are Philly's chances of climbing the ladder that high into a top three?
You know, after they managed to win against NYXL yesterday, coming into the match today, if they manage to win against the Shanghai Dragons and then go into week number 4 and defeat the Valiant as well as the Houston, which is doable, absolutely. If they can repeat this performance, they have a realistic chance of actually being in the stage 1 playoff.
I think a key thing to note as well is just because of the way the schedule is hammered out, Philadelphia Fusion don't have to face the Seoul Dynasty, so that could be a slight edge for them. The strength of schedule getting a little less tough as they progress throughout the season, so they've got a decent shot.
Johnny, what are the chances? You give them a 70% chance, 50% chance? What percentage, Johnny?
I'll go with a 65% chance.
65,
Yeah.
great number. I like that. Right in the middle of the road on the positive side. Safe and Swedish, that's the way Reinforced plays today. Let's get into this match right now, talking about the maps. Who are your players to watch? I want to start with you, Johnny.
I'm gonna look out for Shadowburn actually, because we have some maps that are pretty good for Junkrat, so perhaps you can punish Roshan's aggression on the Winston, of course. I mean, we're gonna play Eichenwalde, Horizon, and then finally Oasis, where Shadowburn will really shine on the Pharah. So I'm looking out for Shadowburn this game.
Shadowburn, what about you?
I think I'm going to be keeping an eye on Hotbird because we need to see kind of whether they want to sub him in for later games, whether he's kind of an upgrade over Poco in terms of his normal play, but we haven't seen anything from him so far, so that's going to be a big question mark for me.
Major question mark coming in. So we got somebody watching Shadowburn. He's going to be watching Hoppa. Who are you keeping your eyes on in this series?
Can I pick the same ones? I want to see how they manage to shut down Shadowburn and Carpet, because that has been a major issue for basically every team which faced off against them, as they're basically all over the place. So it's going to be a really hard task for the Shanghai Dragons.
I'm keeping my eyes on Undead from the Shanghai Dragons. Can he go off with the McCree again? Well, he's going to get an opportunity. The first map is Eichenwalde, and we got our casters ready. Let's send it backstage to Monty and Doa.
That's right. Thank you, Puckett. Here we are, Shanghai Dragons versus Philadelphia Fusion. And by a certain scientific process, if Shanghai wins today, they will be the best team in the entire league because they will have beaten Philly, who has beaten New York, who has now beaten Seoul. So therefore,
and Seoul
big
has
thanks for
beaten Shanghai, so
Well,
we end into a big circle right there at the very end of things. But honestly, Doa, I'm excited about this, not only because Shanghai showed significant improvements this week up against Seoul, but because of this reason right here. Our map pool is entirely different for the Philadelphia Fusion compared to what they played yesterday.
Sure.
And sure, the Shanghai Dragons have only played Oasis in common with their maps earlier this week, but this has all the makings of a trap game. Bear with me for a second.
Okay.
Philadelphia likely was prepping very heavily for New York and not Shanghai.
True.
Shanghai, conversely, was probably mostly prepping for Philadelphia because you got to get your best chance of winning, right? And that probably wasn't going to come against Seoul. Not only that, entirely different map pool for Philadelphia, and we're seeing them play Hotba and Dayfly, where they might have communication issues. So I think that if Shanghai is going to get an upset, this is an excellent time to pull it off.
yeah, the time is now. Admiral Akbar over here produced. He thinks it's a trap.
It is a trap.
see
It
if
is a
it's,
possible
see if it's
trap,
true.
for sure.
All right. Well, we're getting started on Eichenwalde here. Shanghai Dragons going to be on the attack. Philadelphia Fusion taking up the defense first of all. And I'm excited about seeing Dayfly again. In Korea, he was one of my favorite Ana players. And while we're probably not going to see a lot from him in that regard with the meta, it is still good to see him on stage again.
Yeah, absolutely. And as they get more integrated into this team, we may see more looks from the Philadelphia Fusion. They're certainly willing to experiment at the start of the match today. And as we can expect, Shadowburn on the Pharah, so much Tracer Pharah that we see on Eichenwalde A these days, both on attack and defense, and probably going to see it from Shanghai as well. Pharah just very good at controlling space. And along those long sight lines as they come up to the point. And if you're attacking on the Pharah, you try and slowly zone the enemy team out into the back hunting lodge where you can deal some major AoE damage and force them out of the narrow doors back onto the point.
That's right. Here we go. Speaking of the doors, they are open and Shanghai is on the attack. An opportunity here for them to finally take a win. We saw the only team without any losses lose today. Will we see one of our teams without any wins win?
Be an exciting start, but with the way that we saw Undead playing when they faced off against Soul, you really have to respect this guy.
Yeah.
Has stepped up his game significantly.
All right, kind of a cautious approach from Shanghai.
Undead and Altering are actually behind the point now. They have taken a long flank all the way around, and they're trying to make a pincer maneuver.
Yeah, you do see that sometimes. They're coming in from behind now. A lot of shots on the Hotba. As Undead tries to rain some death from above here. Backs away, though, gets taken up by Carpe, who somehow finishes him with that Tracer here. Now MG at half health. He has to retreat as well. And Shanghai stalled out a little bit here.
Yeah, we don't often see that because it takes so long to set up and you have to be highly coordinated so that one of your flanks isn't immediately collapsed on. And because Altering flew to the other side to heal up Roshan, that's what triggered Hotba to go back and try and 1v1 that far. It did have a bit of help there from Carpe at long range on the Tracer, but...
Oh, MG already demech. That's a big deal, actually. Losing that tank. Undead, as you can see, swapping over to that McCree. MG down. So they bring him back up. Now everybody has to back away. Undead down as well. And Philadelphia just not even letting Shanghai approach the point.
Oh, it hasn't been easy for them. Roshan jumped in right there, I think, expecting that he was going to get the follow-up from MG on the Diva, but instead, we've seen this before where the Shanghai tanks will jump in.
That's a big stagger. Oh man, that is a problem for Shanghai. They need to wait even longer now.
Yeah, so the issue has been the Shanghai tanks have been jumping in without being in line of sight of the healers or without support from the Diva simultaneously, and that mistake is easily punished by Philadelphia.
Shadowburn. It's been an exceptional Pharah for a long time now, showing it more. There's another kill onto Undead. This is just devastating for Shanghai. Finally, Dayfly gets taken out, but already a few members of Shanghai dropping here. Neptuno just brings the Zenyatta right back again. And you do not see teams get stalled out on the first point of Eichenwald this hardcore.
No, and especially not dull. Look at the ultimates. Philadelphia has had to use nothing at all in terms of their ult economy to actually defend this point so far. So we're coming up on a minute and a half remaining. And even though Shanghai are working up to their own ults, Dayfly taking out Dia is not going to help.
Yeah, Dia probably catches a couple Zenyatta orbs to the dome, and Carpe sneaking around now. Only about a minute remaining for Shanghai here in their attack, and this is going to be a pretty disappointing start if they can't even make a go at point A. It's now or never for these guys.
Yeah, they've got to go, and they have to use some of these ults. They've been collecting them slowly over the course of this attack.
Well, they got to use them now as they come in here. Shadowburn backing off for a second. Dia falls already. Carpe winning that Tracer 1v1, and here comes Shadowburn. Over the top here, waiting for an opportunity to unleash that barrage. Decides to do it at close range, takes out Roshan, and that's going to be a place where Altering can't bring him back up, especially because he's already dead. Dayfly brought back up by his mercy, and this is all Philadelphia, and Shanghai used everything on that push. This point may already be over.
Yeah, it may well be, Doa, and Dia's trying to hide right now so that he can zip on the point and at least try and contest this. But it's not going to be very easy. They will have one final push. Remember, Dayfly still has the Transcendence, though.
Sure.
So big support ult advantage. MG could theoretically get a self-destruct that still kills people through it.
That's going to be tough. They got a chance. Ooh, the Pulse Bomb. That didn't get anything for Carpe. That could have ended it all right there for Shanghai. Now Carpe around the outside. Can they finish off Undead? That would be big. He has to recall. Ultimate used. On the Philadelphia Fusion side of things, they popped that Transcendence early. We're into overtime. Hainu comes out now, Undead looking for kills. Dayfly finds one instead. Hotba does get demech though.
Yeah, Shadowbird's back up, and it's all clean up right now.
I think so, yeah. Philly looks like they are only going to allow Shanghai to take one tick here on Eichenwald point A, and that is about as strong a hold as you can ask for. as round one finishes up here.
Well, I suppose that answers some of our questions about Hotba and Dayfly's communication, because the ult economy was managed very well. Seems like everybody was on the same page, calling out targets appropriately, and Philadelphia looked very solid, even with these two additions to their roster that we didn't see play against New York earlier this week.
Conversely, too, unfortunately for the Dragons on their side, the communication just didn't seem to be there. You had a lot of tanks going in by themselves again. Undead, unable to get anything going on that McCree after being forced to swap off of the Pharah, so a really rough start for Shanghai. They've got a chance to defend here, but they basically can't give Philadelphia anything if they want to win this map.
Yeah, they definitely can't. And looks like we're probably just going to see Pharah Tracer again. One thing about Philadelphia is they have been very predictable in their use of DPS heroes. They're not running a terribly large number of compositions.
Sure.
Overall, it's been a lot of Tracer Genji, Widow Genji, or Pharah Tracer for the most part. Occasionally, we see the Shadowburn come out on the Junkrat.
They've had such a good evolution as a team, though, over the season, though, where they came in with what we talked about earlier, with those really strong duos in DPS, in tank and support, and they kind of played off those at first, and now we're seeing it kind of come together with better communication, but they're still kind of using that main strength, and they just play it so well that even if they are predictable, it's hard to stop them.
Yeah, it really is, and they have been playing better as a unit too. You see what the coaching staff has been able to do with the Fusion on such a short timeline. Of course, all of us, many people thought this will be a good team eventually. There's just too much raw talent, but considering that they are gelling faster than most would have anticipated, it's been impressive to watch them.
Sure enough, here we go. Philadelphia Fusion on the attack. Shanghai Dragons need to have a big hold here if they want to have a chance of winning Eichenwald. It's going to be nearly impossible.
Well, they're going to have Undead on the McCree, who is doing great things up against the Seoul Dynasty, getting a lot of multi-kills, impressive mechanics from this player. So if he can deliver again and try and deal with Shadowburn and Neptuno,
you have to. Is Shadowburn going to get close enough, though? Dayfly falls early, so there's a dive coming in, but Roshan right afterwards. Hotba demeched as well, so Philadelphia, they need to back up a little bit here. They move forward, though. They're going to try to grind this one out, but yeah, Fraggy just a little bit too low, and Shanghai will hold the first push.
Undead, and this is what we're talking about. Some big kills there, including a headshot to stagger Carpe at the end of the push, and Shanghai repels that first attack well.
I mean, that'd be some pretty epic heroics from Shanghai to take this map, but it'd be quite the statement beginning this series. Philadelphia coming back again. Push number 2. See what they can do.
Pretty straightforward attack right now.
Yep.
It's coming through the main streets. No attempt
Oh,
at a
Dia.
flank, and Dia will fall. Can they open up enough room to get a revive? No, looks like the resurrection is not going to be able to be handled here by Shanghai.
Yeah, they're going to prevent Ultrain from getting anywhere close by, but now they need to get to the point. Philly looping around the outside. They've got Undead, dead to rights. Roshan in trouble too. Dayfly taken down, but there goes Freefield. So now Carpe free firing on the rest of this team, and they're just going to get that first tick and a little more, and that's all they need for Philadelphia Fusion to take map 1.
Dia and MG could not get back to the point quickly enough to stall it out, but it was those two against all of Philadelphia Fusion.
Right.
And that is going to be a fast Eichenwald.
A very quick map, very strong defensive hold from Philadelphia Fusion sets up a relatively easy win for them here on Eichenwald. Next map incoming here. We'll see if any signs of life remain in Shanghai. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
The Overwatch League represents a different direction than esports have taken in the past. A global community of professionals for a truly global league.
Welcome back, guys. Pretty quick first map here as we get things started with Philadelphia versus Shanghai. Philly taking a quick win on Eichenwald. We are going to the lunar colony and on the moon. Anything can happen.
Including Shanghai victories, because they actually have won on this
That's
map
true.
before.
That's a good point.
They've only won on 2 maps, Dorado and Horizon, but they did full hold San Francisco on this map and made a very decisive attack. So this is something that I think Shanghai will be feeling more comfortable with. That said, I'm interested to see the attack from Philadelphia, expecting a full dive composition. We are going to have a substitute, Doa.
Yeah, Shishu coming in for MG, so swapping things up a little bit in the tank role. We have seen him flex onto the Pharah once in a while, but generally he's going to be that tank.
And that was a quick win on Eichenwald for the Philadelphia Fusion, and now we will be moving over to Horizon and seeing if we can perhaps get a longer game here.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Shanghai is such a puzzling team to me because in their last time out, they really did look like they were kind of getting things together. The DPS was popping off a little bit more. The communication seemed good. And then on that first map that we just saw, things kind of fell apart in the worst way. So it's a new map. It's a new opportunity. I'd like to see a little bit more of what these guys can do, what we feel like they should be able to do. You know?
Absolutely, and I think the first change you make here is in that off-tank role. I like the fact that they're bringing in Shishu for this match and subbing out MG because they were having trouble engaging against the Fusion in that last round, and see what they are going to pull out here on their attack. It's looking, at least at the start, that we're going to see something very familiar on defense from the Fusion, which is Shadowburn on the Junkrat, Carpe on the Widowmaker. And Dayfly, you're going to get your wish, Doa. It's going to be playing some Ana.
All right. Hey, it's one of those maps where you can get away with that on defense. But in space, no one can hear Ana whisper things to you after she sleep darts you.
That's true.
That makes it even creepier when you think about it.
Only outside, though, if they choose to go out there.
Yeah, it might happen.
Not sure how they breathe out there. Stay outside on the moon for a long period of time.
It's just a video game, Oscar, so.
I suppose I should have much more pressing questions about
Why
this
is
game.
why is the gorilla flying around with a jetpack? That should be one of the other ones, maybe.
Due to the horrifically unethical experiments that were done on the moon.
It does sound a little bit suspicious, doesn't
giving
it?
animals consciousness. I'm really questioning science ethics in the future.
They also gave them a really nice climbing wall, so it's okay. Here we go. Shanghai Dragons on the attack. They're going to go for the Sombra strats, so trying to send Undead around the side to hack those health packs, build up that EMP for a quick point A take. But that's going to be a little bit tougher when Undead gets sniped by Carpe.
Yep, and he walks into that line of sight, immediately taken down by Carpe. And they're not running the Moira this time, which is a difference between their previous attack that was successful against San Francisco, where they actually executed that composition quite well, threatening the back cap and executing a flank. This time they're just going to run directly underneath, though.
Yeah.
Remember that Undead is not there to hack that health pack right now. He has actually not hacked the health pack yet. He's heading around towards the mini with Dia to put some pressure on the backside of the point.
Yep, trying to draw Philadelphia back off of that high ground. Carpe needs no motivation as he tries to get out of that tank dive. No tick taken just yet here. Dia trying to put some pressure on. Oh, but Shadowburn with the kill.
Well, all the pressure's going to be gone now. You need that Tracer there.
Yeah.
Undead is going to try and do his damnedest on the backside to make sure that they're going to at least force them back down onto that low ground, but it's going to be difficult. They have to wait for Dia, looks like, before they are going to muster the courage to head all the way back around. However, all the members of the Shanghai Dragon, besides Freefeel, are now on this side.
Yeah. Dayfly doing okay on the Ana so far. That biotic grenade could be pretty big. Gets it off onto his team, so should be a lot of healing coming in here. Fraggy taken out by Dia, though. Shishu in response, taken down, and here comes a Riptire. Any kills off of this? First tick taken by Shanghai, but Roshan falls, and without that tank, that's going to be Philly's ticket to get back onto point A.
Yeah, it's only altering and Dia left alive. Scratch that, just Dia left alive at the end of that fight. They were looking for an opening, but Philly moving very well as a team, backing up off the point, making sure that they're collected and they can take out that front line first.
Yeah. And Dayfly's got that nano boost now, so he can power up his tank, probably the Diva.
It is a little weird with this composition as to who you actually are going to nano boost. Is it Shadowburn, maybe? You don't have a great target here, like you said, or the Diva.
I think you generally go with the Diva, but I think we'll find out pretty soon. Carpe dropping down. Has to watch out. Diva coming in. Oh, gets the stick. Oh, Carpe runs right into Fraggy with that pulse bomb. That means Dia gets 2 kills, and now Philly in a bit of trouble. Oh, Neptuno comes in with the Valkyrie, though. Couple big reses, and maybe Philly can hold here. We'll see. Hotba still has that self-destruct, so yeah, as the kills come in here, it's looking okay for the moment for Philly, but those reses on the Shanghai side now might make the difference.
And we're going to see Freefield's going to go ahead and pop the ultimate Transcendence as he comes onto the point. Still waiting on this self-destruct from Hotba. Supercharger is down from the fusion.
Yeah, Hotba hacked too, so can't quite use that self-destruct. Now he's got an opportunity here. There goes Freefield. Oh,
2 kills in 1 mine.
Yeah, that concussion mine came up big for Shadowburn. He's going to finish off Roshan as well. And even though the Pulse Bomb takes down Dayfly, this should be, well, Jishu gets a kill on the Neptuno, actually.
Trying to get Dia right now. Shadowburn is very low. Shishu has rebacked, so they need to get back to the mini health back, but not going to get chased off now. Can they re-engage right now? No, they're not going to try.
Hotba took the health pack when Shadowburn really could have used that, but they're going to give up the point anyway. So Shanghai does manage to muscle their way onto point A. That's 1 point for them.
Yeah, forces Carpe back onto the Tracer too. Shadowburn will have the Riptire up again for this next engagement. Not a lot of ultimates for the Dragons to work with, but they do take the first point, and a lot of that was the Pulse Bomb that Dia started out that fight with.
Well, it's momentum time. Oh, and momentum broken early as Roshan goes down. Undead soon to follow. Looks like Philly may gain a little bit of stability here.
Now's the time for Shadowburn to move back over to the Genji.
Yep. Oh, Dia going down in the Tracer 1v1.
That's right, but we're going to hit an EMP here for Undead. Probably this will be his last attack here on the Sombra, and if it is not successful, they can make a change to their composition. But want to see if you can make this work out. I'm a little bit surprised that we still see Dayfly on the Ana here on the last point.
Well, he was close to the nano boost when they started worrying about point B, and now that Fraggy's on the Winston again, you've got a better target for it, so he'll probably switch later. Yeah, now there's a nano boost onto Fraggy. Undead goes down early, brought back up again, but oh, Freefield roasted with the lightning gun from Fraggy. And they're gonna need a bit more though. Freefield back up again. The res is still there for altering. He went in to use the Valkyrie. Fraggy's stuck by Dia, who's been coming up big with those pulse bombs today. That's 1 tick already for Shanghai, and Philly's scrambling now.
And Carpe's still on the point. Hotba gonna pop the self-destruct. It's gonna be inside the Winston. Oh, not quite inside the Winston shield.
Yeah, well, Roshan got killed either way, so that's a tank, and the reses have been used by altering too, so all these kills are going to be permanent here for Philly now, and yeah, they'll be able to hold. Shanghai was able to come away with 1 tick, though.
Take a look at Carpe here, and he's going to hit this Pulse Bomb right as the EMP is activated, so let's watch him onto Undead, actually. Yep, right there.
All right,
so he predicted the translocation of Undead right after the EMP was used. Pretty slick maneuver there.
Carpe's got a big brain, no doubt about that. Now the nano boost and Shadowburn pulls out the Dragon Blade. Altering falls without any help from that. Shadowburn looking for a bit more. There's one onto Dia. Easy pick for him. And this should be another hold for Philly. Roshan with a little bit of health left. Now no health, and that'll be it. So not a lot gained by Shanghai this time around.
I'm really surprised to see Undead sticking with the Sombra for this long. We know he's got a great McCree. Why not play it against the composition that we're seeing come out of Philadelphia Fusion? So there, now it's going to come out, and Shadowburn will immediately swap back to the Genji after switching to the McCree earlier. So I guess they were a bit tired of having to hunt down the Sombra and just wanted to make sure they could flashbang her before she translocated, but now it's not going to be, I suppose, too worried about Undead's McCree. We'll see if that is folly or not.
Yep, Dayfly's still on that Ana too. As we mentioned, it is his hero of choice, and he's just going to stick with it here. Waiting for a sleep dart maybe onto Roshan now. Doesn't need to use it. Looks like they may have him here. Yeah, that biotic grenade helping out quite a bit. Trying to keep Carpe alive here. Carpe doing his best to make it difficult. Nice shot on altering. And the sleep dart onto Undead. That is why Dayfly is one of my favorite Anas out of Korea.
Oh, it was a great shot. The damage over time, finishing off the Mercy, and then immediately hunting down Undead with the sleep dart. It's a cleanup fight anyway that Philly would have won, but at least they're doing it in style.
Oh, yeah. Well, Dayfly is certainly showing he's still got chops on this hero, despite the lack of popularity in the meta. Ooh, Dia falls early.
Yeah, you can't lose that duel, and Dia was well ahead of the rest of his team there. He was trying for a flank, but there was no pressure on the front, so it was really easy for Carpe to take that duel, and nobody was going to be able to really stop him.
Look at this, just taking a 1v1 against McCree, and it's a tough one, but landing those shots. He's got another nano boost. And reassuring words from Ana. Here we go. Maybe another nano boost coming for Shadowburn. He doesn't quite have the Dragon Blade yet, though. He's going to give it to him anyway. Fraggy taken out early, so they need Shadowburn to come up big here. Reflect onto Undead, maybe.
Oh, he got caught right at the edge!
Oh, the Deadeye was just in range here, and this is going to be rough for Philly. They need a little bit more on the point here. Valkyrie keeping Fraggy alive, but even he has to back off for just a second here, but the respawns are fast.
Shadowburn dead with a flashbang.
Yeah, Undead coming up with a big carry performance. Is a kill onto Neptuno as well. 2 ticks now for Shanghai. They may be able to pull this one out here in overtime. Hotba D-Mech, though. That might be about it. Can they get there? Carpe, can he hold it by himself? No, and Shanghai manages to grab 2 points. It was in overtime, but they finished.
Yeah, they did. They exploited a mistake that they saw. Honestly, using the nano boost on the Shadowburn
way too early
was questionable. It was too early. He was going to be able to get his Dragon Blade up over the course of that fight anyway, and you don't put it on Fraggy, on the Winston, who could have controlled space on the point, I think, a little bit better with the use of that ability. That's a nice shot, though, from Undead.
Undead had a great last fight here. He takes on Neptuno here as well. Yeah, Shadowburn finds that final bang to the face, and that helped out.
The other aspect of that was Neptuno flew in to heal Shadowburn, and he was bursted down immediately, and then the Mercy's just standing there with no one else to fly to, so they overcommitted on that last push and a bit of, I think, desperation, but that means Shanghai is going to complete the map, even though they do not have any time in the bank, and that'll be some pressure here for the Philadelphia Fusion, and this is a map that Shanghai has full held before.
I mean, this has been the best map for Shanghai in the tournament, easily.
I agree. And Shanghai Dragons now, looks like they are going to be going for the same composition that we've seen them win this map with before on defense, playing the pick comp on the high ground, free feel beyond the Ana here, and as expected, it's going to be Philly running with the Tracer Genji dive. And so this is going to be really indicative because they have to dive the high ground as a coordinated unit.
Right. And one does wonder with the instance of that nano boost not maybe going in the right place at the right time at the end of that last round, if there are some communication issues between Dayfly and the rest of the team here. Again, you know, these are guys, these are Korean players that came over, don't speak English quite as well. They've been trying to integrate them into the roster as best they can, and they're doing okay, but there's still going to be those slip-ups, you'd think, once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Comes with the territory, but the only way to reduce those is to, of course, give them time.
Got to do it.
That's right. In these matches. So it's going to be Fraggy and Carpe up first. They're underneath by the Mega Health Pack right now, and the rest of the team is actually holding back. So Carpe's going to back cap, and that's when they're going to attack.
Yeah, Carpe drawing Shanghai off of that high ground as best he can. They've just sent Shishu down to deal with him here. Building up that ultimate as best he can on the Tracer. Neptuno falls early. Good shot by Undead to take him down, and Shanghai holding strong for the moment.
Yeah, that was a nice attempt, and I'm a bit surprised Shanghai actually didn't kill Fraggy sooner. He jumped in alone and got hit by a biotic grenade, but they couldn't actually finish it off. Carpe was just trying to get them to pull back a little bit onto the point, but it was only Shisha, the diva, that went back there to stop the progress from moving.
Yep. That's right. So Carpe gonna, again, try to be as annoying as he possibly can. Shots on the side. He's getting closer to that ultimate here.
He's not actually getting the pressure, though. Carpe is falling low.
Yeah. Trap taken down. Oh, altering, getting a little bit low. Carpe, is he going to go for it? He gets it. That's a big pick onto the Mercy. Free feel soon to follow. And Philly with a golden opportunity to take point A in a hurry here.
Have finally managed to separate Shanghai. Some of them had already headed down to the point. The rest of them were trying to make their way back down the staircase. And that's when we see Shadowburn and Carpe strike. They've got a couple of ultimates and the Valkyrie heading into this point. And all Shanghai has really is this Riptire. They've got to get a pick.
Yeah.
Undead going to swap over, so is Roshan. So no ultimates really to work with here. Altering still doesn't have the Valk. This is a great chance for Philly to just close this map.
That's momentum time. We'll see if they can follow through with it. 6 minutes in the bank, so they've got plenty of time to work with either way. Nice sleep dart onto Shadowburn. He's gonna take a Cyber Ninja nap for a second. Carpe, though, finding Undead with that Pulse Bomb, and Shadowburn back up again. There's the self-destruct coming in. Jishu taken out before he gets back in the mech, though.
And that was also a bait on the Riptire.
Yeah.
He tried to kill the monkey with it, but Fraggy just hits the Primal Rage immediately. And that looks like it's gonna be about it here for Shanghai.
Now they're gonna try one last desperate defense here as Altering comes in with the Valkyrie ultimate.
They are respawning, so maybe Shanghai has a shot. They're gonna have to deal with this self-destruct first.
Well, Roshan not dealing with that too well as he's taken out. Gets res by Altering, though. That should be the last of the Mercy reses coming in, though, now. Carpe with the D-Mech onto Shishu one more time. Roshan getting a little bit low here, but Shadowburn does have to back away. China storming back onto the point, and Shanghai may have it here.
Oh, and the flashbang will not allow Shadowburn to reset.
No. Now free feel with the kill on the Carpe too, so Shanghai may have pulled this one out of the fire here, yeah, and then Dayfly goes down, getting staggered pretty well.
Yeah, once both of the DPS were down there wasn't going to be a chance to efficiently target people on the point, so Shanghai does a good job of holding there. Altering gets his Valkyrie up in the nick of time as he comes out of spawn, but they did give up 2 points, and nearly all 3 points, actually. It was a hair's breadth away for the Philadelphia Fusion. Going ahead and double capping, so clutch defense, as you say, from Shanghai. Neptuno already has another Valkyrie, though, so yet another opportunity here for Philadelphia.
Shadowburn, of course. He's never without that Dragon Blade, it seems like. Shishu D-Mech early, that's a big deal. Fraggy resurrected, and here we go. From on high, Shadowburn diving down. Tries to find one. There we go, Undead. That's right, holding that Reflect for just long enough. And a pretty resounding team fight win here for Philly as Roshan taken out. Reflect onto Undead, maybe? No. It looks like they've got Hoppa there, and that is plenty. So Philly will take it with 4 minutes and 5 seconds left in the time bank.
Still have some work to do to avoid the draw, but they will have 5 more seconds than they would have on their first attack on point A to work with.
True.
And Shanghai has to full hold them now.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough because to win this map, all that Philly needs to do is take the first tick on point A, and with the dive that they've been successful with so far, once again, Shanghai finds themselves in a really tough spot.
Yeah, and it only took a couple of attacks for them to decode the Dragons' defense and split them up, divide and conquer before they could get back to the point. And are we going to see a different strategy here from the Shanghai Dragons to deal with that? Dia is going to be on the Tracer this time, so they are mixing it up. Question is Undead going to play the McCree? Or is he going to go back to the Widowmaker? Or is he going to go Sombra, actually? That would be a difference.
He's mulling it over right now.
He is mulling it over right now. We can see it. You can't.
That's right.
Now you can see it.
That doesn't make it
And
better
now
than you.
we're paused.
All right. It's a pause. We'll see what's up. Hopefully we can get back into the game soon. Again, Philly in a great position to take Lunar Colony here and go up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, it does look like Undead is going to be playing the McCree, though. I don't think you're really worried. So the reason why you'd play Sombra on the defense is if you're trying to hack the health packs first and avoid the Sombra on attack. But I don't think I'd be really worried about that with Philly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they could, in theory, do it, but...
Well, anyone could, in theory, do it, but Philly doesn't, in practice, do it. So if you're Shanghai, I don't think you're expecting that Sombra attack to come out from Philadelphia. So I do agree. I think they'd be much better served with the Widowmaker again, with the McCree again, possibly.
I think the McCree is the better choice here.
Yeah.
You should be expecting the Tracer Genji. At least they've had some success shutting down Carpe and Shadowburn already by using the Flashbang and having Undead on that McCree, so I would definitely go to that.
That's right, and let's take a listen in on to Philly and hear what the players are yelling about during the game. I would love that right now. But anyway, maybe we'll do that a little bit later. Or no.
Maybe. 먹기 비야. 우리 스코어. 먹기로. 그래서 안 돼. Can you let me? Yes, carefully. I got tracer. Excellent. 먹겠어. Messi 1.
There we go. Fascinating
Monkey
stuff.
low.
Monkey low. Hey, that's what I yell when Winston is about to die in our comms.
Talking about monkeys.
Just like us. All right, well, Philadelphia Fusion on the attack again. All they need is that first tick to take point A and to take the map. Get a 2-0 lead in the series.
It will be the low ground attack here from Fraggy and Carpe again. They like taking this first. Shadowburn is out on the surface of the moon, going on a flank right now. He's not with the rest of his team as they're engaging.
All right, a little moon vacation never hurt anybody. Roshan getting a little bit low.
All right, so they did actually successfully all make it back to the point this time. They were not divided and quickly killed by the forces of Philadelphia. And Dia was also simultaneously harassing Dayfly in the back line.
That's right.
They're gonna come all the way around the side right now. They're gonna try and get on a free field. He's gonna
Oh boy,
immediately.
free field. Yeah, dove very successfully, and they're just gonna camp that body so that Altering can't get there and res him. That's the idea, and he came in anyway. Altering, wow, that was a dangerous move to try, and now with no supports on Shanghai, it is a field day for Philadelphia Fusion to end this one.
That
they
was a
will.
pretty significant positional mistake by Freefield, going off the point towards the mini health pack. It's just so easy to collapse on that Zenyatta, and he was big time punished by Fraggy and by Shadowburn.
You know, and you saw what Shanghai tried to do, right? They tried to move the tanks in with Altering to protect him during the res, but it's just so hard when the entirety of the Philadelphia team is already sitting right there. Shadowburn, yeah, great kills out of this match, guys. We're gonna go in halftime when we come back. Philly with a 2-0 lead.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
halfway through the day. It's Friday here live from the Blizzard Arena. Welcome back, everybody. We're currently in the middle of the matchup between the Shanghai Dragons and the Fusion, and the Fusion are sitting up top with a 2-0 lead. Let's get right into the action, starting with Eichenwald, because we saw Shanghai improving over the last 2 weeks, and we've seen really some strong improvements on the map Numbani. This wasn't Numbani, it's Eichenwald. And Sideshow, I want you to just kind of talk to us. What kind of issues were you seeing come through for the Dragons?
Well, Monty referenced that this could have been a trap game for Philadelphia Fusion because he was expecting Shanghai to have put most of their emphasis on practicing these maps. And unfortunately, it looks like Shanghai have actually just kind of focused on Numbani in particular in terms of the hybrid maps, and they were really struggling to crack this Pharah defense. They don't have enough of a game plan to take space, and instead they were just getting so much pressure onto Undead. They were kind of saying, okay, Undead, you're on the McCree, you have to deal with Shadowburn and also deal with Carpe and also get picks on the tanks. That's too much responsibility for one guy.
And also it seems like we're missing a tank in this Shanghai Dragons lineup with a more passive, defensively minded approach to this game. So we see that Roshan and MG, they go down early in the fights, and that means that ultimately as the fights go on, Undead is going to get a limited amount of space and eventually get picked up, and it doesn't have the time to deal with Shadowburn. So perhaps it's to sit back a bit more and give Undead a bit more time to actually do some work on the McCree, which we saw on map 2, which we'll talk about later. They can actually do some damage.
Need a little more defense matrix. That's what my teammates always tell me. All right, let's go into some highlights of the guy that was causing all kinds of problems for Shanghai in that first map. And he's back again. Shadowburn went off yesterday, and already we can see him performing well on multiple heroes, starting off with the Pharah.
Yeah, and they're playing pretty aggressively here with the Pharah as well. They're not giving any space to the Shanghai Dragons to come in. Now, if this was Numbani, we'd see Undead come up onto the high ground and have a slightly better opportunity to kill Shadowburn. But this is a very different map. The way that you deal with the Pharah, you're sat on the low ground, you have to try and make space. That would have been sick if
right?
that straight away drifted away as well. But Shadowburn's an excellent Pharah, and you can't just allow him to drift around in the air like this. So,
I mean, to be fair,
yeah.
Eichenwald, it's a really hard map to actually kill this Pharah because the way Shadowburn navigates around that big pillar in the center of the point itself, it's so hard to actually get a field of view onto him and actually deal with him. So you have to give some credit to Shadowburn's movement in the air as well, the ability to avoid the McCree damage coming in.
And most of the time you see either another Pharah on the other side to try and make sure that Shadowburn can't do that kind of stuff, or they just focus on the tanks on the ground and try and kill them. But they were kind of stuck in a weird middle ground, Shanghai. And I think this is just because they haven't put the time in to really refine that map. But we've seen improvements in the rest of their map pool.
All right, so Numbani, the better hybrid map for them. They got work to do on Eichenwald. Let's talk about a map that we said they looked good on previously, and that's Horizon. Now, that was our map number 2, and as we take a look at some of the highlights here from this map, again, it was kind of the Philadelphia Fusion show, but Shanghai was able to force it to a second point.
It was, and again, there was the Shadowburn show with the Junkrat. I like to believe, okay, we got Carpe popping off, getting some headshots, bam. But then again, it was Shadowburn with the Genji and with the Junkrat. It's just so annoying to deal with this kind of approach when you're the aggressive team in Shanghai Dragons. You're forced to leap forward with the Winston, but there's always the Junkrat mines and the traps, etc. to deal with this kind of aggression. So Philadelphia Fusion overall, I think they shut down Shanghai Dragons pretty effectively here.
And we saw a little bit about Dayfi. We'll talk about him in a moment. Sideshow, I want to hear from you, though, about Undead, because when we look at these highlights, this was a ridiculous play on the McCree.
It really was, but he's under so much pressure. The guy's got talent, it's undeniable. We've seen him pop off in previous matches, but both Shadowburn and Carpe are both focusing him. On Horizon, Carpe killed Undead 8 times, and Undead was only able to reply once. So he's got insane pressure on him. The difference in picks between these two DPS duos, Philadelphia Fusion over the course of this match so far have got 56 kills. The Shanghai Dragons DPS, they've only got 13. They're under so much pressure. They need a little bit more space to get the work done.
As we close out halftime, Johnny, I want to ask you about the new players in the mix here for Philadelphia Fusion. First time Dayfly was put in, things didn't go as planned. Today, he's playing alongside Hoppa. How have the new faces on the Fusion performed so far?
Well, in week 1, we saw Dayfly prefer the Mercy because Neptuno was a bit questioned about his Mercy play. Can Neptuno come into this Philadelphia Fusion squad and play the Mercy as good? But he showed that he can play the Mercy, and so Dayfly has taken over the Ana role we've seen here on Horizon thus far. And he hit some nice sleep darts, get a few picks onto Mercy. Obviously, when Mercy is flying around in the sky with the Valkyrie activated, then we can see Dayfly with a sniper rifle actually hitting some nice shots and shutting down Shanghai Dragons pretty good.
All right, well, I want to wake up the audience real quick. I want to hear how many of you guys are cheering on the Fusion to finish out this series when we come back. Fusion fans making some noise. How many people want to see the Dragons potentially force a Game 5? Underdogs, they got the fans behind them. We'll see if they can pull up a big win. Oasis will be map number 3 when we come back. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
The Philly boys.
We see Shadowburn obviously play the Genji a ton. That's the hero he's known for. How much talent is on this team?
Shanghai Dragons walking in like a boss. Hey, wow, really committing to this.
Pyko gets 3. It's a self-destruct bonanza. What a spectacle.
Oh, but the kill's coming back around for the Shanghai Dragons.
Huge. The Philadelphia Fusion. What a strong start.
Hey, we're back, guys. Philly with a 2-0 lead as we head into Oasis. Shanghai with a chance to bring things back, but things, looked okay on Lunar Colony. They managed to take both points, but in the end, Philly with a pretty easy win, I'd say.
We was pushed into time bank, but even so, it was pretty convincing there in the time bank round for the Philadelphia Fusion. We are going to Oasis next, where we have seen Shadowburn do incredible things on the Pharah. I'm anticipating we will have a nice little recap of that moment. Worth noting that Shanghai did win University against Seoul Dynasty this week, and they did it with a anti-dive strategy, running the Orisa, Roadhog, Junkrat, and McCree, which is something that they could duplicate here if we see them on University.
Absolutely. And, we know they've got it in them as far as, their talent on Undead, on that McCree, what Dia can do on the Tracer. And, I feel like we've seen Roshan be a better tank in the past, but just kind of waiting, as they say in the hashtag, for the dragon to be unleashed.
Unleash the dragon.
Hashtag unleash the dragons.
Well, we are going to start here on Gardens, which is not going to be the best map for the Shanghai Dragons, especially with Shadowburn's acumen.
You don't anticipate any unleashing at this point?
I do not. Maybe if we get to University, we can see it, but we'll see what happens, and if Shanghai will have a method of dealing with it. Their method of dealing with it might be McCree and Soldier simultaneously.
Yeah, just double hit scan and try to shoot that far out of the air, and that's what it's kind of looking like they're going to try.
Yeah, look at that stat too. Final blows, Carpe #1 and Shadowburn #3 out of the entire Overwatch League on Oasis. So this has been a great map for Philadelphia.
Well, this DPS duo has really been fun to watch kind of evolve over the first few weeks of Overwatch League. Carpe and Shadowburn really have become a force to be reckoned with in Overwatch, and even more of that today. So, Neptuno on the Lucio this time around, swapping things up a bit, and he's going to be sent back to spawn in a hurry by Dia, but Shadowburn's still high in the sky. Hotpa, though, demeched, and it's a good start for Shanghai. Can they keep it up? They lose Shishu's mech as well.
He's trying to poke right now, but no.
Oh,
finally,
Undead.
Undead is going to pop up. He just surprised Shadowburn on the high ground.
Now he's got to deal with the Diva now. That's going to be a problem, and Hotpa finds that kill.
So even though they committed to that high ground, they were still cut off, and Undead was all alone up there, and now it's going to be an attempt to clean up here. Carpe with that pulse bomb, doesn't find an opportunity to use it, heads back to his tanks, and he explodes, gets stuck.
Dia's had a lot of good pulse bombs this series already. I mean, his Tracer player hasn't been lacking, but he needed a lot more out of that ultimate to put China back into this, or put Shanghai rather back into this one. Philadelphia Fusion with 20% already. Dragging a little bit of trouble. He's going to go ahead and use that Primal Rage to stay up. And Shadowburn relatively untouched so far as he takes out Roshan.
Yeah, Dayfly with the early Valkyrie as well. Not going to get a lot of value in terms of reses out of this, as his team's not dying. But see if Shanghai can actually push back in and punish the early Valk.
Yeah, well, self-destruct used by Shishu. Frankie goes down. Undead finds a kill there, and he's not going to get brought back up anytime soon, I don't think.
No, he's not, though.
Yeah.
Carpe gonna find Dia well in the back lines and sort of even out this engagement.
Opportunity for the Dragons here, and it's a big one. Dayfly falls as well. And now, unless Shadowburn can carry pretty hard with this sound barrier, Shanghai may be able to flip this point here. Hotba will get demeched and taken down. Shadowburn kind of finds himself on his own on the side, untouched, but unable to really take the point.
Yeah, only 3 members of Philadelphia left on the point right now. Shadowburn will try and dive into the enemy composition.
What a delay, though.
A reset, and yeah, Carpe still in there, making life difficult.
Wow, I mean, they managed to hold the point long enough to get up to 77%. So although they finally did have to give that one over to Shanghai, that was still a great start for Philly on this point.
Yeah, and Undead gonna take over the high ground now with the McCree. It's where he wants to be. It's gonna be harder to play into him than when he was attempting to make his way up here against the Aura when she's hovering off the backside of the map.
Yep, Neptuno taken down. Dia somehow getting into the back lines and catching that one, but Shadowburn there for the return kill. Oh, taken down by Undead. Going wild now, that's a nice headshot. Pulse bomb comes in, Undead manages to live through it though.
Wow, Undead saved a possible overextension there from the Shanghai Dragons, because Dia and Roshan were well out of sight of the rest of the members of their team. Again, coordination issues, a potential problem, but Undead gonna save them with a couple of headshots, at least for a short period of time.
Yeah, brought back up yet again by Altering, brought back up twice in this fight already. There goes Roshan though, and Philly with that dive may be able to kind of swing things in their advantage. Oh, 3 health, 0 health now for Shadowburn as China comes, or as Shanghai comes storming back.
Yeah, there's going to be a 4v4 on the point right now. Hotpa still with the self-destruct, able to use it. They're going to try and charge in.
Reveal.
It's just a delay tactic now for Shanghai. However, they are going to reach at 66%, and Philadelphia flips the point and are now well on their way towards finishing Gardens.
Yeah, they knew they had the time to approach that one pretty methodically, and that's what they did. Up to 90% right now. We'll see if they can hold it for just a little bit longer.
All right, they've got a Transcendence. Roshan will be coming back with a Primal Rage very soon.
Yep.
So they've got some good stall ultimates to work out, but Dia dying right off the bat is not what you want.
Yeah, Neptuno finds a big pick here as Philly goes into overtime right now to hold this one. Carpe manages to get Jishu pretty low in the mech here, but the Transcendence comes in. Undead taken down by the barrage, and Free Feel as well. Shadowburn finds a right angle at the right time, and may have just delivered Philadelphia round number 1 here on Oasis.
Dayfly still has the Valkyrie, using it right now to close out this map. Overtime is done.
Yep.
Philadelphia wins on Gardens.
That's right. Just some great play from Shadowburn to hold that barrage, wait until the right moment, the right angle, and really makes that last fight easy for the Fusion.
You know, honestly, Doa, though, without Undead hitting some of those headshots, that could have been an extremely lopsided match.
Yeah.
There were, again, overextensions from Shanghai. Dia and Roshan playing up towards the spawn, and no one else on the team was joining them in any meaningful capacity. So,
well, when we see that too, when we see Roshan go in and die over and over again, that really makes us think about the first couple matches for Shanghai in the Overwatch League, and it almost looks like they've kind of regressed a bit today, where there's just zero communication, nobody's keeping Roshan alive, and
yeah, it's fine.
It's rough.
It's fine to play that aggressively on that point, but you have
if you have
to,
support.
yeah, you have to have your other team with you. And sometimes when you watch Shanghai, you just wonder if there's some sort of schism here that prevents them from all getting on the same page and committing to a tactic.
Yeah. Now, Roshan does not have a lot of healing when he gets in there. And he's going to be cut off from there. So team taken out immediately again. I mean, how about illustrating that point, right? Roshan dying first yet again in this fight. And Philadelphia comes out with the man advantage here as they try to claim city center.
Yeah, that time it's just Philly's tanks buying a lot of space, and that's what Fraggy does for this roster. He also creates a ton of space for the DPS.
Right.
That play alongside him here on the Fusion, and Dia attempting to go in, does have to rewind here, trying to get hunted down by Carpe.
And Dia makes it out. Carpe's going to come around the side here. Maybe can get some good shots onto some of the supports. So just going to go ahead and poke Undead a little bit before retreating.
Dia again is going to be on a long flank. He's been by himself for most of this match, and he hasn't really been delivering the support picks that they need to be successful with this kind of strategy.
Roshan coming in again. They're going to go for the dive. Jishu right there. Shadowburn manages to be taken up, and there goes Roshan. Now Dayfly brings Shadowburn back again. Carpe has to back off a bit. Kind of in the middle of everything right now. Oops.
Oh, that's big,
Dayfly caught in the air. That may have been one of the jump pad high noons, possibly from Undead. Didn't quite get to see it, but we got to see the result. And Neptuno drops that sound barrier in a desperation effort to keep this point alive.
Yeah, Fraggy died so far forward that they knew the second resurrection from the Valkyrie was going to be targeted at him. And as he was flying in to bring back Fraggy, he's just punished immediately by Undead with a good Deadeye.
Yeah, Altering uses that Valkyrie to try to stay alive. Dia goes down, though. They're going to see if they can maybe guard that to prevent the res. They can't. Altering comes in, gets it anyway, but Philly back on the point. Carpe drops a pulse bomb. No kills from that. Roshan goes Primal Rage and knocks him out of the fight for the moment. Fraggy down.
Yeah, Shadowburn uses Mirage to try and get a pick. Yep. He is going to fall as the Diva finds him in midair, but surprisingly, Doa, despite all of this, the stall from Philadelphia has been fantastic. The point still hasn't flipped. Neptuno's still there. Carpe's still on the side. He's going to dash in. They're up to 90% before it goes over.
Yet again, more of the same, where we see Philly, they know they're going to lose the fight, but they manage to stretch things out for so long and delay it to build a ton of control percent. And now, you know, they can pretty much take their time and get ready for a really methodical push back onto it.
Yeah, Shadowburn also just going to flip over to the Genji. He does have time to build up that Dragon Blade as they're heading back from 0%.
Yep.
As the Dragons try and run this one back. So he's going to be trying to target some of these backline members which have been vulnerable.
Yep.
Just a lot of poking right now from both of these teams. Philadelphia not wanting to commit yet. Fraggy is sneaking. Fraggy's actually flanking right now. Undead.
Oh! Finds it again. I love that. Yeah, Carpe may not have been expecting that one, but thought he'd be finding Undead facing the other direction when he went up there. Nice kill onto Dayfly, too. And, you know, this is the frustrating thing about Shanghai, right? Because they've got DPS that can make plays like that, but they just don't seem to be able to work together as a unit to capitalize on those individual performances.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more, Doa. And Shanghai also at least having some good ult management there. They win that fight just using the Deadeye, basically.
Oh, he was so ready. So ready for Carpe. That was an easy fish to catch, but now Undead goes down and Dayfly brings them back up again. Both DPSs Back in action one more time, and Undead may be playing in traffic here. Oh, look out! Oh, no! Oh, he's like, I could have handled that if it was a horse.
Can't ride on top of the cars, unfortunately.
Not
in
as
Overwatch.
easily.
Davefly coming in, has that Valkyrie, and he's going to try and heal up on the point.
Yeah, got that self-destruct too. He's gonna go ahead and use it to zone out Philly a little bit. Dayfly does go down. Jishu taken out before he can remech again.
Shadowburn nearly at the Dragon Blade though, 3% away.
Yeah, that's right. And Shanghai nearly has us up to 99% right now. Dia delaying very, very well. Carpe down one more time. There goes Fraggy, and Shanghai may have taken this point.
Shadowburn's gonna have to be huge with the flashbang. Will stop him in his tracks. He doesn't have a chance to use the Dragon Blade.
Oh, and Philly's not going to let this go without a fight. Trying to delay it as long as they can, but now overtime ticking away. That may be about it. Yeah, Neptuno not lasting long, and it looks like Shanghai will tie things up on Oasis off of some pretty nice performances by Dia and Undead.
Absolutely, and we're actually going to see them head into University the point that they won against Seoul. So
yeah,
this is looking good for Shanghai, actually. Definitely a chance to finish out Oasis against one of the teams that has been the strongest on this map.
Yep, they're in the position they want to be in. They managed to bring it back again, and now they've got the round that has the best geography for their DPS to take advantage of.
Yeah, I do wonder a bit about changing off of the Pharah there for Shadowburn over to the Genji, because he couldn't actually get that ultimate back up in time.
It seems like you're just, I mean, on that map, as the Pharah, as the Mercy, you are really legitimately worried about what McCree can do with the ultimate and the jump pad, because if you're up in the air, there's no way you're getting out of sight before you get killed by that Deadeye. So
yeah,
legitimate concern here as we go into University. Philly swapping things up, going for some shield tank. Shanghai looking for picks.
Yeah, Shanghai gonna play that pick comp that got them the victory against Seoul, but they're gonna do it without that Mercy. Can be, oh, there we go, switched over to the Mercy.
Okay, yep, now they've got it.
Yeah, late there, they used the Lucio just for the speed boost out of spawn.
Goes in that flashbang, doesn't find anyone with it. Forced into that little room on the side. Yeah, they've got him bottled up here. Carpe's on that McCree as well. He wants to fight him, McCree to McCree. He goes down, Roshan with a couple kills actually, and Dia already has that Riptire. He's gonna take down Shadowburn, no problem, and Shanghai will get the control percent going first.
And this is where they were good against Seoul, so they'll be happy that this is going to be a way for them to close out this match. Undead has the Deadeye, going to be trying to look for a zone here, potentially, as they come in. Fraggy throws a Fire Strike through, but can they get some big picks? No.
Shield was there just in time. Fraggy had that Reinhardt in the right position.
Still very big struggle to try and come in here. You're dealing with the spam from the Junkrat and the possibility of getting hooked. So the zone control good for the Dragons.
Yeah. Juju on that Roadhog on the side needs to stay alive. That whole hog would be a pretty crucial ultimate to help them hold that in the next fight. High Noon, Carpe goes ahead and uses his Deadeye as his team walks in. There's a hook on the Fraggy. They're going to go and use all hog. Oh, nice flashbang from Carpe. Cancels the ultimate from Roadhog. That's going to be a problem. Walks into the team anyway. Oh, what a hook on the Carpe. Predicting the roll, but Hotba coming back with 2 kills on the self-destruct. Jishu can't stay alive as Hotba comes in. And they still need to back away, though.
Yeah, they do. Altering going to fall out of the Valkyrie right now. 3 members from Shanghai on the point. Free Feel on the upper flank at the moment, but it's been hard. Graviton's going to be used.
Yeah, that'll be about it, man. Shadowburn with 3 kills off of that Graviton, and between him and what Hotba did at the beginning of that fight, that was a solid one for Philly, and they're going to get the control percent going. Shanghai with 70 already, though. Watch that replay one more time.
Yeah, just trying to res Fraggy right there, bringing everybody in with the halt. Roshan gets hit by the Earth Shatter, but
that's a good Earth Shatter into self-destruct from Hotba.
Yeah, wasn't able to get back behind his barrier in time.
Yeah. All right, so Philadelphia with a chance to build some control percent up, maybe take this map, but Shanghai with some ultimates to use as they come back on.
Yeah, that's troublesome. You really didn't want to use the Graviton there if you could avoid it.
Yeah.
If you're Shadowburn, but they got panicky because they hadn't finished things off, and Dayfly and Carpe will be killed with 1 Riptire, bringing back Carpe, but that's still not going to be a Zenyatta there.
Nope. Gotta back away if you're Philly. And that's going to give the point right back over to Shanghai Dragons.
They're still pushing forward. This is getting desperate here for Philadelphia. Yeah. They're going to struggle to even reach the point. They're going to have to use the Transcendence simply to get back, as we see right now.
Shadowburn all charged up. That's a lot of damage coming out of the Zarya right now. Supercharger taken down by Hot Buzz self-destruct. Now Fraggy around the side. Ooh, we can't prevent the hook from coming in though. Gotta be careful to keep Shadowburn alive. It's a flying Reinhardt, comes down, hammer swinging as they come out of the point, but he can't stay up. Brought back up again by Neptuno instead with that res, and we're into OT. Philadelphia with an edge in the fight, but perhaps the Mercy ult might be enough from Shanghai.
Well, that Graviton only really hits Undead. Roshan falls, but he's going to get resurrected by the second charge of the Valkyrie immediately. Philadelphia still in this one, though. Dia has a Riptire. He's looking for a target. That's going to be a rewind, but still
Neptuno.
Neptuno.
Yeah, that's right. Philly still hasn't switched the point over just yet. Fraggy taken down by Dia right after that ultimate as well. Shanghai in a great position here to maybe hold this one. Oh, but Carpe with a pulse bomb gets Roshan, and now that the shield's out of the way, Philadelphia with a chance to switch it back. They've nearly got it flipped.
Yeah, but there's only 3 players. Undead is trying to zone them out with the Deadeye right now. Hotba will knock him back, but he's still going to get debacked.
Well, it's quite the brawl right now, but Philly can't quite seem to get an edge in this fight. They're going to try one more time. Neptuno goes down early, though. That's looking pretty good for the Shanghai Dragons. OT ticking away faster and faster, and they may have it right here, right now. They will, and Shanghai will get the map win on Oasis.
Yeah, staying alive in this series and looking pretty convincing on those last couple of points. Philadelphia Fusion running this roster that they haven't had necessarily the confidence to use all of these players previously. Right. And this time they will fall on Oasis.
Yeah. A good play by Shanghai. You know, they finally, it seemed like, were able to bring together some of these great individual performances, especially Undead on this map. Came up big on the McCree. Shanghai with a chance to tie things up in map 4. We'll see if they can do it right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
I'm joined by all these wonderful people, and of course everyone at home, and we're about to head into map number 4. But before that, I want to relay a piece of information. As we saw a new face on the Fusion lineup with Hotba playing today. So during halftime I got to talk to the coaches, Hui and Jan, and ask, when are we actually going to see Hotba playing over Poco, who has been impressing all of us with his diva bombs. That definitely been one of the highlights for the past air. They don't even stop. I'm just going to continue talking. Either way, Poco's bombs have definitely been a highlight for everyone watching. So I talked to the coach and they said the main difference between the two players on their diva is their play style. We saw Poco going for those flashy plays and, you know, those different angles. Generally a more aggressive player. This is really hard to focus. Yeah, he's a more aggressive player, whereas Hotba's strength is absolutely being more passive, defensive, peeling for his backline, and this is what he brings to the team. He's currently taking English lessons in order to improve the communication with his teams. His performance today has been absolutely solid. The crowd's performance has been absolutely solid. Let's see how we're going to do it. Map number 4, and for that, they're going to hand it over to Monty and Doa.
All right, thank you, Zoe. Mad props to Zoe. Imagine this. Like, imagine someone telling you, go talk to a coach, then remember everything they said, then try to say it back on a broadcast with hundreds of people yelling behind you. That is an impressive performance there. Thank you, Zoe.
Yeah, I like having the insight, too, and
Yeah.
having the play here from Hotba. And I think we've seen that, too. Generally speaking, he has been more concerned with killing flanking tracers, and particularly as Dia has gone around the side, or Undead has gone around the side on some of these maps.
And some subs. 5King coming in for altering. This guy had quite the reputation as an epic Lucio player in China over the last year or so. And MG coming in for Shishu.
He's back once again, and I'm curious what they're planning to do with 5King here on Junkertown.
Yeah.
Because this makes me think that there's a possibility, if they want to run the Lucio, particularly on defense, that we might see some of that quad tank that jumps you right as you come out of the gate, which was usually where we see potential Lucio play on this map, so I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I do wonder. I mean, it would be cool to see them come up with something that we haven't really seen before from Shanghai, and that can work. The tricky part with doing that defense where you hide kind of right outside the spawn and then you catch them right as they come out is the reset afterwards. You get that first pick, you maybe win that first fight, but then you have to move really fast to back up and get in position again, because we've seen teams try this. They get that first pick, but then everybody's kind of scattered when the team respawns, and then you just get rolled on point A. So
yeah, and to be fair, we haven't seen that in a while, so that makes me think that a lot of teams are moving away from this style of defense, because it has been shown to be, as you say, too vulnerable.
I think it's a very risky way to play. It's fun.
There's no doubt that's very risky.
And it may have worked in some of my ladder games in the past, but this is the Overwatch League, so I would not use my ladder strategy if I were for Shanghai Dragons.
Oh,
no.
come on.
Well, I mean, my strategy is just to go Jonak and kill everybody with Zenyatta.
You're Jonacking so hard on the ladder these days.
That's right. That's me. Yep. Only much worse than him. I try. He's inspirational, you know?
I think he's inspirational to many support players.
He should be. He is. Well, guys, Oasis went the way of the Shanghai Dragons, and now we will go to Junkertown, our escort map, and perhaps our final map in this series here. Philly with a win here would take the series. Shanghai with a chance, though, to send it to the tiebreaker on Lijiang Tower, and I wouldn't mind another game between these teams.
I wouldn't either, and especially with Shanghai getting a chance to actually push it to the limit would certainly be exciting and show improvement from their end of things, but they're coming off a strong win here on Oasis, so we'll see what they've got for Junkertown with the inclusion of 5King and the reintroduction of MG.
True enough.
To this roster.
And I bet there's a lot of cars on top of other cars in the future. I mean, because cars can kind of fly now, so you don't even need to lift it up there. You can just kind of fly it up there, right?
Yeah, just park it forever, let it rust outside of Junkertown.
Why not?
Those have probably all been stripped for parts already, right?
Flying car parts. What would you use those for? Maybe that's how Zenyatta floats. He's got one of those like car tires underneath him.
That would make a lot of sense.
Concealed in some way.
It's concealed within his Omnic chassis.
That's his chassis. That's right.
His chassis.
That's right.
He's got a chassis.
Yeah, everyone's got a chassis.
He's got a fine chassis.
Yeah. I saw one of the greatest signs ever in the audience earlier today. It said like Jonak would have saved Mandata. And And I'm like,
I thought
It's
you were going
true.
to say the I'm here for Doa side.
I liked that one a lot too. Props to whoever's holding that one out there, but
You know, not everybody can have taste, but
it's not all about me, Monte Cristo. You're so mean.
He just got the burn. It took a while.
I got the burn.
It's all right. Philadelphia
I feel
also
the burn
they have
now.
the shadow burn, so
That's true. Which is a much more effective burn in this match than yours. Yours is decent, but shadow burn is much more severe. Philadelphia Fusion on the defense. Shanghai, of course, going to be attacking here in a few seconds as we get things started. Looks like some interesting stuff coming out of Shanghai. Double Sniper and the Reaper.
this is actually a strategy that we see the London Spitfire use, and the Five King will switch off of this onto the Mercy, looks like.
Oh, okay.
Having the Ana Reaper Reinhardt, this is definitely what we've seen from London on attack here on Junkertown in the past. And the thing is, Dia needs to be able to find his way into the back line like Prophet does and start to kill some of those supports. So you can be a bit sneaky here. He's going to try and come around the side. Carpe's already going to be there, though. Carpe going to take Undead out.
Yeah, I mean, we saw MG looking for those flanks, but he was on the wrong side. Carpe on the right side this time on that Widowmaker. Takes some big shots, too, onto MG. Hotba gets the kill onto Dia. That's a great start for Philly. Hotba coming up big on this Roadhog so far.
You can't just walk into them like that, unfortunately.
Oh,
you are
there's a
going to
hook.
get hooked. Is if you just walk into that front line and immediately destroyed,
Yeah.
you're not going to get any shots off because the Orisa shield will be there, so it's going to be really challenging for him to play the Reaper in that fashion. You do have to get a flank for this strategy to really be effective against the Junkrat and the Roadhog.
Yep, Carpe looking for a couple of those airborne shots there. Doesn't want to get hooked by MG, has to be careful on the side. Another kill onto Dia, that time Dayfly finds him. Five King down as well. There's a Mercy out of commission, and Philly just not really letting Shanghai go anywhere yet on this map.
And Nano Boost comes in so late as well. And when we saw a lot of the Nano Boosted Reinhardts, it was when the Nano Boost still had the speed buff on it.
Oh, that's dirty. Oh, Carpe. Oh, man. I thought he was going to hit him with the trap, too, so you can mark where that Tracer's going to be, but he's just like, nope, I'm just going to headshot him. That works. Triggered. Yeah, I'd say. I would be, too. Yep.
Oh, now, again, Philadelphia is really emboldened now. They are walking well past the payload to attempt to get some of these hooks off. Shadowburn will be found, however, by Undead.
Okay, there's the start for Shanghai. They needed that one. Does the res come in? Hotbug goes down. Free Peel with a kill there. Hotbug manages to demech MG, though, in the meantime.
Well, this is the opening Shanghai really needs.
Yeah.
The Resurrection has already been used by Neptuno, so they're going to be fighting in a 6 versus 5. Roshan goes in.
Oh! MG vaulted in the air, taken down. Res by Five King, though. Does he get back into the mech? It looks like he does. They fly back up again. Carpe under a little bit of pressure here. Under a lot of bit of pressure here.
Actually just leaves Free Field down and presses Roshan with his last charge. That might be enough. Carpe is free firing from the upper part of the map, though.
Hotba with another hook, but he needs a bit more than this. With Fraggy down, it's a problem. Actually, no, Fraggy was just res, so Philly doing okay. And Shanghai very scattered right now.
That's going to be it, though. They're going to have to retreat back towards their spawn. Dia will be caught by Carpe yet again, and 60 seconds left on the clock.
This is looking very Eichenwald-esque, isn't it? Where
It definitely is, though. The possibility of a full hold is, in effect, neither team is going to have a Valkyrie to use right now.
Both got some ults, though.
Both should be able to have that Transcendence, but Shadowburn wants a big pickoff onto a support to start things off.
All right, yep, coming in. Oh, he gets Undead. And he nearly got Dia with that, too, but Undead just nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. As the Riptire comes in, and that's going to delay Shanghai just a bit longer, and they only have about 20 seconds left, and Free Field goes down. Huge picks coming in at the end here in favor of Philadelphia.
Oh, the stagger is so brutal. MG gets demaxed as he gets hooked in. He's playing too far forward.
And the res used on Free Field, too, so they are not going to get that tank back on the Shanghai side. They need to make some sort of desperation run, and there's Roshan, pops that Primal Rage. Dayfly responding with the Transcendence. Zen ults on both sides here. That payload moving a little bit, but Philadelphia just slowly, methodically falling back, allowing Shanghai to move up as they reposition. Shadowburn gets sniped, though. Undead finds the kill there. And Hotba, oh, he can't hit the hook, so there's the whole hog.
Well, Neptune actually gets away with the res on the Shadowburn. Dia can't quite kill him as he comes in during the channel.
Oh man, Hotba takes a breath, stays alive. Carpe gets a kill onto Roshan. Oh, but Fraggy falls. An opportunity here for Shanghai. They may be able to do it.
They're going to push forward. Doha, Carpe's down. Hotba's the only one left. So Shanghai in overtime will cap point A.
Oh, they will barely keep it alive here on Junkertown. A little bit of time here to move through point B. The question is now, does Philadelphia have time to set up their defense?
They're going to have it, absolutely, Doha. They're already here. Only Carpe has to walk back from the last part of the spawn.
Yep.
So Undead, going to use the infra sight. See if he can find some targets. Nobody within sight lines right now. Hotba's just gonna pop out.
Now there's a target, but not the one he wanted to see. Undead makes it out barely here. Fraggy really low, needs some heals, doesn't get them. Transcendence used a little bit. Undead taken down, and now MG find the kill on the Hotba. So Shanghai just kind of grinding through Philadelphia right now as they push point B.
Both of the Resurrects have been used now. Both Valkyries are up. They're waiting to see who's going to try and pull off these last picks. Carpe and Shadowburn are going to find a couple by being on a high ground flank behind the payload.
Yeah, Hotba and Fraggy have really been on the same page as far as the double alt fire or the alt fire, the halt rather, from Orisa, setting up the easy hooks for Hotba. Shadowburn there, bouncing people in the air for the easy hooks too. And I gotta say, I'm really liking Hotba's Roadhog here.
Yeah, it's been good. And we're going to see Dia. Dia is back towards the point C right now.
Gosh,
and Carpe knows that because his infra sight is up. Dia's nowhere near this fight.
Yeah. Another hook, Roshan forced to use Primal Rage, and maybe not the most opportune time. Let's worry about things a bit. Undead gets a kill into Carpe. Neptuno falls as well. Philadelphia without their mercy. It's a big deal. Uh-oh, there's a self-destruct. Hotba can't get away.
Shanghai keeps on rolling right now. Didn't matter that Dia wasn't going to be a participant in that fight. They grinded out on the payload instead.
Yeah. That might be point B for Shanghai here.
Now, there's still a lot of ults left on the side of Philadelphia, so they're going to try and pull off a pick right now, force them away from the payload. MG will just destroy Carpe as he comes through the choke.
Yep. And Shadowburn.
Nice shot from Undead, too, to take out the tire.
Yeah, that tire's not going to make it. Shadowburn on the side here, tanks coming in. That Winston shield doing wonders in terms of protecting people going through that narrow hallway. Transcendence use, Philly really committing to this defense here on point B, but Neptuno falls again. Shanghai may have this one. Hotba in a lot of trouble on free field. Fragging out on the Zenyatta, and that's going to be point B. Maybe a bit of an overcommitment from Philadelphia at the end there.
Well, it was really Undead just popping off once again. He has been keeping this Shanghai Dragon team in some of these fights that they really don't have a whole lot of business being in because their positioning has been so flawed and they frequently find themselves one man down, but instead he's hitting the shots and that's making the big difference.
Yeah, surviving by virtue of those great individual performances here. Now Shadowburn on his third Genji pick. Undead needs to be a bit more careful as some of those shots may be coming right back at him.
You see right now 65% scoped accuracy is very high
Yeah.
for the Widowmaker. Has been the difference maker. Fraggy gets a bit ahead of himself. That means Transcendence comes out as the Shanghai Dragons continue to push forward with this payload.
Yeah, I mean, they lose Fraggy, but it was nice to get the Zenyatta ultimate out of the way, but they're going to really kind of let this one go down to the wire here.
Undead is punishing the DPS from Philadelphia.
Shadowburn.
He knows they want to come back and try and take out the support line. There's no DPS actually on the payload right now for Shanghai.
Dayfly down, he's going to respawn right now. Shadowburn back in. They need to stop that payload. It's getting closer. Shanghai may have this one. Only 20 seconds remain.
Wow, Neptuno's down.
Whoa, Neptuno's been dying early in a lot of these fights here.
That's going to force Hotba to come out with a self-destruct. It might not matter though, Doha, as the resurrections come up. MG will be revived by 5King.
Yeah, very true. Neptuno's got his Valkyrie as well, so maybe they can make something happen with it. But 5King all over that point right now. Philadelphia, though, getting some kills, but Roshan with the Primal Rage. Got to get back onto the point, though, trying to scatter the members of Fusion. Dayfly with the Transcendence, keeping everybody alive for now. There's a kill onto 5King and Undead. Shanghai, desperation, but people falling. And that may be a hold at the very last moment for Philadelphia. Yeah, looks like they can do it. But a solid push for Shanghai after nearly losing it at point A. They really did a good job there.
That's right, overtime pushes. The ticket for the Shanghai Dragons and relying on Undead to reliably pick off members of the Philadelphia Fusion turns out to be a strong strategy for them, especially because you only come into that last point with an additional minute and a half on that clock. It's a long way to go in point C.
Right.
And still they nearly drive it all the way home. So a lot of room now for the Dragons to work with. It's a scary situation for Philadelphia because pushing this into point 5 is absolutely not what you came here to do if you are the Fusion. But this, I said before this match started, possibility of a trap game here, 100%.
Sure. Oh, Shadowburn. That's his excited face.
That's, yep, and his sad face.
That's right.
He actually smiled at us when he came in to start this match, though, Doa.
I saw that, yeah.
It was like seeing a unicorn.
Happiness lurks somewhere in the heart of Shadowburn. He needs to get a lot of kills to have it come out, though. In-game, in-game.
He didn't even smile after they beat New York, so.
It's like all part of the plan. Well, Philadelphia, if they can push it all the way, they can win the map, they can win the series, but they've got to basically take all 3 points. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Shanghai more or less completed the map.
Yeah,
but they really needed to rely on that snowball that you create on Junkertown attack where, you know, a defense can hold and hold and hold, and then once you lose one fight, it's if you've got the DPS who can handle it and the tanks that can get up far enough, you can prevent the defense from ever setting up again and kind of roll all the way through like we saw Shanghai do.
Yeah, definitely a lot of snowballs that can be created on Junkertown. Philadelphia, they're going to be running.
Oh, he was ready!
Wow.
Welcome.
That the Widowmaker was positioned very far forward.
Yeah.
And because you hope to get that pick off, but I just don't think the risk is worth it, Doa, because the problem is if you lose that duel on defense, there's no way your Mercy can res you. If you win the duel, okay, well, they're just gonna res immediately with the Mercy or wait for the respawn. The risk reward there is not great for positioning that far forward on a Widowmaker.
There's another one. How does he hit those shots? Carpe looking so good on this Widowmaker. He knows that MG's flanking around. There's a kill on the Dayfly, so MG making its presence felt, certainly. And that payload's moving, though. MG misses the hook. That is crucial. And now without that hook, he kind of just has to hang out back there.
I mean, he's there with the supports, but Dayfly actually doing an enormous amount of damage to him, and Dayfly and Neptuno will just take down the Roadhog.
Yeah, free field. Not lasting too long here. Shadowburn has to back away. He's very low health. Ooh, but maybe he can sneak forward. The Widowmaker. He gets the health either way. A very fast point A for Philadelphia Fusion, and already kind of a disastrous start for the Dragons.
Yeah, I just think that positioning was so unnecessary by Undead. You know you've got so much room to work with. Why go ahead and take those risks? And instead it leads to a very fast point A take.
Made it look easy. Carpe did.
Thanks, Yuna.
I know. Sniping him up. Very good. MG out of the way already for Philadelphia. And the Riptire rolling again. Oh, but Dia ready to take that one down. Carpe, for a bit of revenge here, takes a chunk out of free field.
Dia actually won that from the high ground by using the mines as Shadowburn jumped up.
Yeah.
Does get resurrected though, so Carpe is going to be looking to join his other DPS, try and take out Undead on the high ground.
One more.
Ooh, that was close.
That's enough damage to push him back though. Undead, yeah, can't approach. He's got like 20 health right now. Maybe even less. Lucky to be alive, and that's going to be a quick point B for Philly.
Oh boy, and now they're going to head into 5 minutes and 45 seconds almost to take point C. Now still definitely possible to hold here. We've seen time banks this large stalled out on Junkertown before. However, that's with how easily Philadelphia moved through this map. Got to be worried.
We've got about as much time as you could possibly hope for coming into point C as the attacker. Shadowburn manages to eliminate Dia's Riptire here. Dayfly fighting for his life, finally pops that Transcendence as he was under a lot of pressure from Shanghai. Undead finds a kill on the Fraggy anyway, though, so that Zen ultimate not really accomplishing much for Philadelphia.
That was actually some interesting positioning from the Shanghai Dragons. So Five King was just damage boosting Dayfly, or Undead in the back rather, on the Widowmaker. Meanwhile, the Transcendence was with the remaining members of the Dragons on the payload itself. So really trying to ride Undead's accuracy out to a team fight when it ended up working.
Makes sense. Wow, MG demeched yet again. He has spent a lot of time outside of that Diva suit. Gets res one more time. Carpe looking for kills here. MG falls once more to the Riptire right after being res. Didn't even get back into the Diva suit. Oh, and there's another headshot from Carpe onto Undead. This Widowmaker devastating for Shanghai. Goodbye, Roshan. And yeah, that payload's gonna make a lot of progress.
It definitely is, and they tried the same thing again. That time they were actually damage boosting the Zenyatta free feel with Widowmaker, but you can't do that if you don't have any actual healing on the payload itself.
Yeah.
Without the Transcendence, that strategy is pretty all in that you're going to get a pick with the Widowmaker or the Zenyatta as soon as the fight starts because you just don't have the heals per second.
Here comes the Tire.
To outlast.
Tire over the top, down, and that's 2. Well, Neptuno taken out. It's gonna be 2, but Dayfly fell to Undead shot instead. Hoppa not gonna last too much longer, so finally, a bit of peace and quiet for Shanghai. Oh, goodbye.
Carpe takes a tumble out of the tunnel. Shadow burn.
Acrobatic.
On the Genji. Plenty of time left to change this strategy. Carpe will move over to the Tracer as expected.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the Widow works pretty well on point A, well, great on point A. Point B, yeah, fine. Point C, you do it until you die and then you swap most of the time. We've seen.
Yeah, want to use the verticality here. If you can, dive compositions will be effective.
Frankie's dive not super effective just yet. Neptuno does go down too. Undead finds another kill onto Neptuno, and I gotta say, Neptuno's been caught out quite a bit in the latter part of this series.
Yeah, but you got time if you're Philadelphia. You swapped out 4 of your heroes. You didn't have any support ultimates, so these are really just economy pushes, eco pushes from Philadelphia, waiting to have their best opportunity to close this map.
Yeah, you've nearly got both support ultimates now too. And they're gonna go ahead and use them. Both Zenyatta's popping those Transcendences. Shadowburn flanking ahead with Carpe, trying to get onto Undead. Undead, a little bit of damage onto him. Where'd he go? He's trying to get away, and now Shadowburn getting smacked down by Roshan in that Primal Rage. But that's a Winston ultimate out of the way now for Philly.
I really disagree with the way Philadelphia is playing this, Doa. Because
very risky.
Because they're going to try and kill Undead, but Undead has the Mercy on him every time.
Yeah.
What they need to do is just punish the front line, actually, because they're not going to have the healing against the DPS.
MG down, Shadowburn with the Dragon Blade, only able to get that Diva. Undead waiting for him with a sniper shot. And here comes a Reses from 5 King. MG and Roshan both back up again. Philadelphia getting pushed back.
They're going to try and create that space again. Philadelphia falling well back now.
Yeah.
Neptuno's going to fall alongside Fraggy. Only Hoppa left, and Shanghai maybe punishing this. They're going to deback, and we are getting into the end of this match, Noah.
Yeah, if you're Philadelphia right now, you have to get really worried here because you've used both of your support ultimates. You don't have a lot left aside from like Fraggy's Primal Rage. You're down to 1:30.
Now what this takes is patience. You need to get poked a little bit and try and get your support ultimates back up for a final push because you're already contesting with the Transcendence that has been earned by Free Feel.
Fraggy used that Primal Rage really early as they come in, and Neptuno dies once more. Both Tracers finding kills with their pulse bombs here. Undead brought back up though.
That's
5 King.
That's the difference. You kill the you kill the Mercy, you're gonna have a much better time as the fight goes on. Philadelphia is still playing aggressively with only a minute remaining. They need to be careful that they're not going to get staggered here on their exit out of this fight. They have all 6 members back up now.
Fraggy barely got out of there with his life, and if they would have lost him with less than a minute remaining, and they do lose him with less than a minute remaining, Neptuno has to use a res to bring him back up again. This is a rough start for Philly already, though.
Boy.
Yeah, Dayfly goes down. They've got about 1 good push left in them.
And Undead also swapping to the McCree, so trying to deal with the flankers yet again, has the Deadeye, built it up in the last engagement. It will have a Valkyrie, and we are heading towards an apocalyptic end to this map.
I would say so. Carpe versus Undead. Undead couldn't land that flashbang, but he's got the Deadeye. Good zoning coming out of that one, and there it is. Can he catch Neptuno? No, Neptuno gets away just in time. Oh, and there's Reflect from Shadowburn onto Undead. Reses come in again, Shadowburn taken down. Do they have another res for him? Neptuno needs to bring it back. He's gonna bring back Fraggy and Dayfly instead though. And I don't know if Philly can get there. They're pushing the payload now, but no. Shanghai all over this one, and we're into overtime. Neptuno looking pretty low on dead, hunting for him. Can he finally get him? Not quite. There we go. Finally gets a kill on the Hotba.
Shadowburn has the Dragon Blade, but he's low.
Yeah, he needs more health if he's going to make it work.
Needs the health back. Can he get it? Okay, but is there presence on the card? Overtime still there. He's got to use it.
Shadowburn needs to have an amazing Dragon Blade. Here we go. Comes in. 5 King low. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Shadowburn going wild with this Genji. Finally taken up by MG.
It's keeping them in this though, and there's still 3 members of Shanghai. Shadowburn has bought some time, but it might not be enough.
MG out of the mech, Roshan down. They still need to push this payload quite a way to win this one. It has to be an incredible OT push for Philadelphia to win this, and Dia delaying so long. Now the payload finally moving. Carpe needs to get out of there. He does. Fraggy goes deep again. Oh, that payload's moving.
2 members dead on Shanghai. Everybody from Philly is back. They switched over to the Moira just to make it to the point in time.
And Hotba's got the self-destruct, so he can just throw that in there at the very end and make it hard for Shanghai to approach. Roshan coming in. Winston bubbles go down. There's the self-destruct. Hotba, can he stay alive? Oh, he doesn't get anyone with it, but back in the mech again he goes. Shadowburn taken out by Undead. Carpe falls as well. Dayfly now on the Moira, trying to get that big AoE healing in there, but 5 King moving forward with his own Moira. He's nearly got the Coalescence already. There goes 5 King. Carpe with a big one. Dayfly gets the heal. There's a Coalescence trying to stay alive, trying to push it. What an insane fight this is. Philadelphia still in OT. Can they actually make it happen?
Back.
The respawns are big for Shanghai though, and MG has not taken a lot of damage yet on this Diva. They are scrambling and they need to stay on the payload here. This is insanity.
Primal Rage again for Fraggy as they scrap it out. MG out of his mech. They're trying to push them off just so they can get it. Neptuno's back on the Doomfist.
5 King low. Oh, it inches for it, but it's not enough. They maybe have it. Ooh, this is insane. Shanghai with the kills though. They're coming back. They've got the respawns, and Philadelphia may not quite have enough. Dayfly coming in. He's not going to last too long, and it looks like Shanghai has held it. They will take Junkertown, and we are going to the tiebreaker.
What an impressive hold from Shanghai there on that last point.
Wow.
5 minutes and 45 seconds. They held strong on point C.
I can't believe it. That was absolutely crazy. I mean, what a heroic effort from both sides, though. I mean, Shadowburn having that huge Dragon Blade, giving them the chance to push ahead, but Shanghai manages to tie this series up. And, you know, I thought after Seoul versus New York, I'm like, okay, that was a crazy match. But this one, delivering as well. Don't go anywhere, guys. A tiebreaker coming up right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Welcome back to the Blizzard Esports Arena here in Burbank, California. Dylan Monty here, and Shanghai delivering, winning 2 in a row. And we are going to Lijiang Tower to see if the Shanghai Dragons can complete the reverse sweep and get their first win of the season. This stuff has gotten pretty crazy here.
Who would have thought, Doa? Who would have thought coming into the match that Shanghai would be on the verge of a reverse sweep? It will be altering, subbing in for 5 King here on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, that surprises me a little bit because, yeah, Altering's had good performances on the Mercy, but, you know, if you're going to put in the Lucio main on any map in this series, you'd think it'd be Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to see whether Undead can continue to power this Shanghai Dragons team to a victory. He is having an outstanding day.
Yeah.
And I think he's just playing really well against the Philadelphia playstyle when they're so interested in deep diving with their DPS into that backline, and he's able to clean them up to start out a fight.
Yeah.
It's been a big difference.
Sure has, and another opportunity here in Lijiang Tower for Shadowburn to bring the Pharah out one more time. Something that's certainly been difficult to deal with for every team that Fusion has run up against.
I'm encouraged, though, especially if we go to Control Center for the Dragons.
That would be a good one for Undead.
Yeah, that's going to be a good map to play similarly to how they won Oasis earlier on University.
Right.
So I'd be intrigued to see them go to that particular point. Otherwise, though, it is going to be Garden up first for us, and Shadowburn, of course, on the Tracer, or on the Pharah.
What? No,
not the Tracer.
Wrong. Learn
Carpe.
to read, Monte Cristo. Come on.
Well, I can't read Pharah here. I can only look at the picture, unfortunately.
Learn to read images.
I'll work on my skills on hieroglyphics then.
That's good. Translate some cartouches for me later.
I'll do that just for you, Della.
Go to Temple of Anubis.
I'll tell you all about the various Egyptian dynasties.
Thank you. Well, here we go. Philadelphia Fusion, Shanghai Dragons. The winner of this map wins the series. And what an epic way for Shanghai it would be to take this one. Shadowburn under pressure already from Undead.
And this is a map that we do see Widowmaker on. Shadowburn going to have to be careful with how he pops out from the sideline. Neptuno gonna fall right on the bridge.
Yeah, that's awkward. Neptuno going down early. He's had a bit of a rough series, no doubt. Hotbit demeched, so Shanghai with a good start here as the point unlocks.
This will be a first cap here for Shanghai as they strong-arm the members of Philadelphia Fusion, and an excellent start.
Yeah, whoa! Shadowburn reflects it right into Undead. The res comes in, of course, but now it's out for when Philadelphia goes in for their next attack.
Now they're gonna try and come around the backside into the building, but it's not gonna help them get pressure onto the actual point. MG takes out Fraggy. Carpe finds Undead.
Yeah, Fraggy dying early again here. Free field falls to Shadowburn. Dia gets that kill onto Carpe. So Philadelphia trying to flip this one back, already nearly 30% for the Shanghai Dragons. MG comes in, has that self-destruct ready to go, but he's gonna demect and use it.
Yeah, they're actually using a lot of ults just to stall right now, and they're not even gonna get back into the mech necessarily. Free field and altering still looking Dia, the only dragon on the points.
Yep. May not want to use that pulse bomb quite yet. Gonna wait. Shadowburn there to try to take out the Tracer. And there we go. Philadelphia Fusion flips the points.
Oh,
that transcendence from Freefield.
Oh, that's not what you want to see for the Dragons right now.
More like feels bad.
Definitely feels bad. You don't want to use that support ultimate. There was nobody there to provide the backup. Yes, you got to 47%, but that did not help you at all.
Not worth it. Shadowburn comes in with the Dragon Blade now. This would be a pretty good time to have a Transcendence, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? There's 2 kills for Shadowburn. Make it 3, and Philly will hold strong on the point.
Undead did do a quick flip back to the McCree when he saw Shadowburn coming out on the Genji. Dayfly used his Valkyrie, so that's again, not an ideal timing for one of these support ultimates. And we are going to see the Dragons now, only with the Primal Rage pushing back over the bridge. Roshan's going to go on to Dayfly immediately.
Oh yeah, Sound Barrier pop and Neptuna. They're going to go in, and Shadowburn going to become the unstoppable juggernaut again. That's 3 more kills popping up on the kill feed for him, and Philly holding this one.
Doing that time using 1 ultimate just to build up that control percent, allowing Shadowburn to go deep and play aggressive with the help of the Sound Barrier.
Right. Yeah, they definitely put it to good work.
Undead wants to go onto the Pharah now, so another swap off.
Interesting.
Not going to be a lot of answers from the dive, so we'll see if Undead can make this work. Reveal with another Transcendence.
Yeah, Roshan Primal Rage used after the Pulse Bomb comes in. Carpe does fall. Dia with the kill there. Shadowburn looking for some more action on the outside. Free field taken out. That's a support out of the way here. Philadelphia, the point halfway flipped. Altering brings back Freefield again, and Shadowburn, he doesn't want to use that Dragon Blade. He wants to save it, but he may have to pull it out. He may have to get out. There we go. Dragon Blade coming in. Gets Freefield. Looks for more. Swinging away. There goes Roshan. Three kills or it wouldn't be a Shadowburn ult. Oh, it's not a Shadowburn. Close enough. Close enough for a Shadowburn ultimate.
Yeah, the Valkyrie, though, not providing the necessary heals per second to survive the burst damage from the Dragon Blade. So Philadelphia continues to hold on to this point, 99%, and overtime is done.
All right, wow. Pretty one-sided first map in favor of the Philadelphia Fusion. Shanghai just not seeming to quite find the composition that worked for them on that point.
Yeah, I think that's true, but also I think that's probably the best point on Lijiang for the Philadelphia Fusion play style.
Yeah.
And now we're going to go into Night Market. So not Control Center, which you'd think would be a favorite of the Shanghai Dragons. They'll have to take out Night Market first before we can head to that third and final point.
You know, you've still got some opportunities if you're Shanghai, though, to run the type of thing they want to run. You can use the McCree if you want to, if you stay out of that open area. But, yeah, Control Center would be ideal if we make it there. I think Shanghai's got a real chance, but this is going to be a tough one to go through as we get things started here on Night Market.
More dive from the Philadelphia Fusion. Undead now on the Soldier 76, trying to poke in and deal some of that initial damage.
Yep. Now they've got Shanghai pushed off the point for the moment. Oh, but Shadowburn goes down. Pretty rough for Philly to start things off with.
Yeah, he got too far forward and flanked and killed by Dia.
Yep.
Not going to be a chance to revive, especially not now that Neptuno is down. It will be a first capture here for the Dragons once again.
Now the Dragons have been very good at killing Neptuno over the last few maps.
They need to get on the point. They walked off.
What? Okay. All right,
Okay.
all right.
They got it back.
Hey,
It's okay.
It happens. It happens to the best of us.
They were trying to quickly reposition outside of the pagoda.
Yeah. That's a bit of, well, you talk about communication issues. That's going to be one of them right there.
Well,
altering down.
Falls to Dayfly, so they're going to be without the Mercy now onto this point. Free field, take out Carpe, but there should be a resurrection. Valkyrie already used by Neptuno.
Close call for Undead, down to about 20 health there, but he managed to get the health back in time. Gets a biotic field in, now he's got the tack visor, so an opportunity. Oh, never mind, did I say opportunity? No, that was before Fraggy came in and wrecked him, so.
It's all about stall right now.
Yeah, Neptuno with that Valkyrie.
Yeah, Altering's going to fall off the map, reset, and that's what you need to do. You don't want to use that tactical visor. You had already basically lost that fight when your Mercy went down so early on, and Neptuno had committed the Valkyrie, so. You got some percent, you stalled it out a bit, now come back and try and use your own Valkyrie to proceed and win this next fight.
Okay, oh, Shadowburn finds Undead. Oh, and the biotic field, not quite enough. And that's a problem. Undead trying to get in that high ground position to use that tack visor, couldn't do it though.
Neptuno was killed by Roshan, so the Primal Rage used, and they're going to commit to this with a Valkyrie, even though Undead cannot be resurrected. He's sprinting back from the base right now.
Shadowburn just trying to get away from the Raging Ape. Oh, he's very low. Can he make it? Oh, Frankie falls as well. Shanghai slowly pulling ahead here, but no, Shadowburn comes back in again. A lot of people dropping on both sides, and Shanghai on the point, but here comes the Dragon Blade from behind. Needs a bit more. There's Reflect. He's got Altering right where he wants it, but Undead comes through with the tack visor.
Great patience from Undead on the tactical visor, knowing that the Dragon Blade would be coming out. Gets far enough away that that's not going to be a threat, zones him out early, forces him to use the Reflect, and when he re-engages, instantly destroyed by the tactical visor.
Yeah, good picking apart of what Shadowburn was trying to do in that fight. And now Shanghai Dragons takes the lead.
Neptuno's dead again. Dia with the quick pick, still has a pulse bomb.
Yep. Now Philly nearly flips a point there. Shanghai needs to get back onto it. And did they get anything done with that pulse bomb? I don't think so. I think that was eaten,
actually by a defense matrix.
Yeah,
so.
looks like it was.
No opportunity to demech and try and stall out further. Carpe with a sneaky attempt at a back cap right here. Dia has caught on to his plans and he's playing the corners, poking at each other from range.
Takes 1v1. Oh, Shadowbird, though, manages to find a big pick on the side here. Dayfly uses that Transcendence as Philadelphia charges onto the point right now. Goodbye, Dia. They really want to take this one back again, and that is a resounding team fight win to do it with.
Well, they have to commit, though. That means the Transcendence needs to come out. A free field will die late. Shanghai, they've got time, though. They have time to get their Valkyrie up. They have time to get now the Transcendence already up. So they should be feeling pretty comfortable. Shanghai certainly has the advantage to close out this map.
Got an opportunity. Atpa playing it safe here. Philadelphia. Oh, wow. Roshan going in really deep here. He's got MG with him, but where are the healers?
Shadowburn's dead. Undead took him out.
Yeah. All right. Atpa, self-destruct, no kills. Gets back in the mech. Altering brings back B-Hill. Undead goes down, though. Hotba with another kill on that one. They fly back up again. Shadowburn lurking on high. Comes in with the Dragon Blade. Gets onto Undead. Can he get the kill? He can. Gets the heals he needs to, too. There's the reflect. Can they finish the fight, though?
He's still getting zoned out.
Yep.
Has a bit of healing on him right now, but the brawl on the point continues. Freefield going to join his team.
That's right. Altering a little bit low, Shadowburn grabs a health pack. We're into overtime right now. Philadelphia, a win on this point would win them the series. They've nearly got it. Hotpa out of the mech for the moment. He's going to go down. And we're into overtime. That may be it. Can they take down Dia? Dia, the last man standing on Shanghai. Overtime ticking away. Can they get anyone there in time? Yeah, Roshan there, but he falls instantly. And that is it. Philadelphia Fusion will be taken to the limit, but will still take the win.
A nail biter for the Fusion, but they look comfortable and controlled on Lijiang. Fraggy making sure Shanghai didn't have an opportunity to get back in. Knew the attack visor was coming, popped his Primal Rage, and pushed him all the way back across the map to prevent the kills from coming through.
That's right, and man, what a close one. What a heartbreaker for Shanghai, too, to come so close, force it to game 5, but encouraging in the last half of the series for them.
Look, they nearly came back and reverse swept.
Yeah.
We look at their performance in the first 2 weeks of the Overwatch League. They were looking lost. They weren't winning more than 1 point in their first 2 weeks. Now they come back, they take a point off of Seoul, and they nearly take the series against Philadelphia. So regardless of their loss, there has been very real improvement.
Yeah, but talk about improvement. What a huge week for Philadelphia, coming out 2-0 in their matches this week here. Let's send it to the desk and see what they've got to say about breaking that one down.
Thank you so much, Mani Adoa. Give it up for our casters. There we go. We can make some noise still. Shanghai, another great showing. Just when we thought they were done at halftime, they come back and they're able to keep this series alive. It goes all the way to a game number 5 where Philadelphia walks away with the win. We got Sideshow, we got Reinforced to break down all of the action. We're going to start here with Oasis. When you saw the map was coming up for game number 3, what were your initial thoughts, Sideshow?
That unless Dia and Undead had an unreal performance, Shadowburn and Carpe were going to walk all over them, because this is such a good map for the Pharah, and that creates a lot of space for Carpe to do his work on the floor. But as we thought was a potential possibility, Undead and Dia did go off on this map.
Yes, exactly. We saw actually that they managed to shut down Carpe pretty efficiently. Undead often needs help from all of his members to actually shut down Carpe, because Carpe is always there poking with the Tracer. But we saw some flanks coming out of Undead, you know, the flashbangs around the corners. We saw the Deadeye, of course, on the elevator where you jump up. And then we saw the Junkrat coming out of Dia. So they shut down the DPS of the Philadelphia Fusion pretty good. And throughout this series, they had so much time to deal with. So Undead and Dia could quietly get the picks needed.
So what was the most important factor here? Is it the McCree that shuts down the Tracer and the Genji, or is it the play that we saw from the Diva here? What do you think was the biggest contributor, Sideshow?
Well, I think part of it is that Philadelphia Fusion were playing a little slower, so they weren't playing dive and they weren't putting all the pressure on them as we saw in the first 2 maps. They backed off a little bit, and that made a bit more space for Undead, and the supports were able to survive. So I think the combination of their tanks stepping up a little bit to make space for them, and then Undead hitting the shots was really what did it.
Shout out to Jeff behind you. Let's keep this going here as we move on to Junkertown. It's Shanghai taking game 3. Now we got ourselves a series. And then we come into game 4 and it's like, well, I guess the series is over. It looked like Shanghai was gonna get stuffed before the bridge. They weren't even gonna move this payload under the bridge. Eventually they break through, and during overtime they move it all the way to 93 meters on the 3rd point.
Yes, and I would give a lot of credit to Dia here on the Tracer actually, because Carpe on the Widowmaker, he focused the other members of Shanghai Dragons so hard. So Dia on the Tracer, he had so much room and space on this map to shut down the backline of Philadelphia Fusion and get picks. So pretty much every fight you see on this map, we saw that Shanghai Dragons were up a member or 2, simply because Dia had so much time and space, and he actually showed up mechanically as well, we have to mention, to actually get some damage onto the backline of Philadelphia.
What I think is really quite surprising or interesting about this as well is that Philadelphia Fusion in this final fight around the payload looked like they might have been able to clutch it and actually push it in overtime. And so maybe there's some hint of mental stuff going on here, because Philadelphia Fusion were reverse swept previously by the Los Angeles Gladiators. They were so close to it actually happening again here. So maybe this team has a bit of an issue with keeping motivated the entire way through a series, or, you know, they start out strong, but then they kind of slack off a little bit. I don't know what's quite going on there, but it does seem to be a bit of a recurring theme.
Or it could be just simply that Philadelphia Fusion has a hard time to adapt, perhaps mid-game, because often we see the halftime coming in, and then the enemy team, you know, they make some changes, like, oh, we need to shut down Carpe, we need to make some hero adjustments, and from on there, Philadelphia Fusion can't really adapt to what changes in halftime. So perhaps give some credit to the coaching staff of those teams. We think the Gladiators, of course, with DPay, has a really good understanding of the game, with some good advice to the team, etc. So give some credit to coaching staff as well.
We do have to give credit to Philadelphia as well. They had a great Game 5 in the past, despite the loss to the Gladiators in their first Game 5. They're now 2-0 in the next 2 matches. They get the big win here over Shanghai, and you said as soon as we saw it with Lijiang Tower that this is a map that Philadelphia should win.
Yes, exactly, because you see Carpe always popping up on that Tracer. I mean, this is a hometown map for DPS players, and so when you have Carpe and Shadowburn, this is the map they can really shine on, regardless of what happens with the tanks and supports. I'd say it's so reliant on the DPS players themselves. So Shadowburn, he is so close to the enemy team whenever they come out of spawn, so he has so much power to initiate the fight how he wants and to pop Dragon Blades around corners and easily reach the backline of Shanghai Dragons, rather than to rely on tags necessarily to set him up.
Sideshow, yesterday we had Johnny say that Sabiobi's the best Tracer in the game. He repeated it again today. Officially, is Shadowburn the best Genji in the Overwatch League?
I'm actually not sure about this one. There are a lot of good Genjis in the Overwatch League, but not all of them are at their best form right now. Guys like Prophet, he's incredible at Genji. We've got Shadowburn's definitely in that. Who else is around that kind of level? Like,
can't think of them. They're obviously not that impressive.
Fleder, of course. Fleder's a phenomenal Genji. So Shadowburn's pretty decent. He's great at being able to escape from these scenarios and play like that.
Yeah, and we have to mention that this isn't necessarily the best Genji meta, so often we don't see the Genji players pop off. I mean, Tvick is one of my favorites Genji players, bit biased. but of course, this isn't the meta where you see the Genji coming out as often. Hydration is maybe up there.
We'll talk about that more on Watchpoint, guys. You ruined my transition. I wanted to talk about more Genjis, and here they're coming. It's your player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP, and it's going to be Carburn or Shadowpay, whatever you prefer. We got both players here. We couldn't decide between the 2 DPS stars from this Philadelphia Fusion squad. Shadowburn showing us the Pharah, Carpe showing us the Widow, the Tracer, and of course we saw the Genji from Shadowburn as well throughout all 5 of these games.
Yeah, Carpe and Shadowburn were playing fantastic. And when they were playing aggressive, they were playing really excellently. And Shadowburn on the Junkrat as well has shown us something different. For me, Carpe is so interesting actually, because we see kind of, he rises as the team continues to improve. The better Philadelphia Fusion play, the better he seems to play. And this guy, we still haven't seen his ceiling, I think. He could be one of the players, if Philadelphia Fusion go on to be really successful, that we end up kind of talking about as, is he one of the best players in the league?
Yeah, I mean, both Shadowburn and Carpe, we see them make plays repeatedly, but it also feels like whenever Philadelphia loses, it is on the back of Carpe and Shadowburn. So they're a bit of streaky players, and then it comes to the question, like, how much do you rate Carpe and Shadowburn as a duo if you're that streaky and not necessarily as consistent?
Pretty ridiculous numbers there. I believe it was 49, if not 59, and then 40 final blows coming in from Shadowburn and Carpe. Nearly 100 kills, if not more, between the 2 players. Ridiculous performance. They both earn our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. It's been 2 matches. 10 games are in the books. We have 2 winners. Are you guys still enjoying the show? Me too, and I got great news. On the other side of this commercial break, we have one more series. Will Dallas get their first win? We'll find out as they're going up against the Shock on the other side of this break.
So close, forcibly to game 5, but encouraging in the last half of the series.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.